And Savage. And Savage unable to get it down low. And off that turnover, here's Draisaitl gets low. Draisaitl gets middle, scoring his league leading 44 on Sport.
LeBron's in deep. LeBron needs help. LeBron needs help.
Present.
LeBron needs help.
That is so Luka right there. Anthony dropping. Warriors take it away. Anthony dropping it off. Warriors take it away.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Draisaitl gets low, shoots and scores. Leon Draisaitl lowers the shoulder that puts it upstairs, and we are tied at 2. 7 games in a row with Draisaitl scoring his league leading 44
on Sports 1440.
LeBron needs help. He finds Luka to beat the crowd.
Good God! That is so Luka right there.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Anthony dropping it off. Warriors take it away. Curry again. Buddy Hield back to Steph. Another 3. Got it! This has got that record-setting feel. He's 9 of 12. And we got a long way to go.
Well, a positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you are having a lovely, positive Friday as we are coming to you live today from McDavid's, which, of course, is the McDonald's, but now it's McDavid's on Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue, which for decades was the busiest McD's in the country. And so this stems from a conversation that they'd had with McDavid last year. And so I don't know if you knew it, but in his hometown, they changed one to McDavid's as well. And Edmonton's like his adopted hometown. So they will be having it as McDavid's for a while. I don't think it's not going to be forever, in case you're wondering, but they're doing it now. Also, you will have 97-cent fries all weekend at any local McDonald's. The Big Mac David Burger will be staying on the menu a little bit longer for you. We'll be giving you a few of those away today. It's Positive Friday, so if you're making your way around the South Side, pay attention, and we'll have ways for you to stop in and win yourself a free Big Mac David, which is a double Big Mac, and they are quite tasty. Now, I was going to challenge Declan to see how many he could eat, but he's got a big training event this weekend, so he couldn't do it. But I don't know how many. I'm not a big eater. I'm not. So I probably could eat 2, maybe the most. I don't think I could eat more than that. Cons, how many Big Mac Davids do you think if you had to, you could eat at one time?
They're pretty big, Gregor. I think 2 would probably be the max for me. Right. Hey, if I worked hard and trained for it, maybe I put down a couple more. But I think 2 would probably be the limit for me at this point.
Okay,
they're big. They're tough to do.
Dude, they are very big, 100%. So yes, it would be a challenge. Just like right now, it's a challenge for the Oilers to win. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you, of course, get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 play. We got lots to discuss on the show today. The Edmonton Oilers, 5-game losing streak for the first time since November of 2021. It's been a while. Last night was, I think, easily their best of the 5 games that they've lost. They limited the turnovers. You're always going to have some, but I thought they limited them. They were more competitive in the game. They still made a few key errors, though, that cost them. And now so did Florida, right? Like I know people are going to text in already, they hated the Nate Schmidt goal. I'm like, that's a really good shot from Nate Schmidt. If you want to save there, okay. But then what about the Brett Kulak goal? Because if you want to save from Skinner there, then I'm assuming you think Bobrovsky should have saved the Kulak goal. So those ones, they cancel each other out. Right? In that regard, they cancel each other out. And Edmonton, but the thing is, I don't know if you saw it, Cons, we'll get the clip, but after the game, Chris Knobloch talked about his team, and he's talked specifically about that goal. And quote, they scored a goal having a little bit of space when there shouldn't have been any. They were able to gain the zone, make a play when they should have been eliminated. And if you watch that play, they come down on the right side. It's one forward in the offensive zone for Florida. There's two defensemen back, and both of them end up on the left side, and none of them actually touch the player. It was both Broberg and Klingberg. Neither one of them was aggressive enough. And Bouchard basically just skated right out of the play. He skated over to the left side, didn't make a play, and then went into the corner. And so now you leave the middle of the ice open. Like, if you're going to go over there, you got to commit 100% and go. Just go. Right? Because once you get stuck in no man's land, which happens, then the net, the middle of the ice is wide open. Now people, oh, hey, I don't like the change. I didn't like the line change. Well, keep in mind, the forwards were out there for a minute. And at the time when they were going off, Florida had one forward in the offensive zone and two defensemen. That, you go back and watch that play, there's no chance that should turn into the play that it did. No way. You had two defensemen back and there was only one Florida player. They should have eliminated him. Or more importantly, if the right defenseman stays in the middle of the ice, there's no wide open lane. Right? So that's a major gaffe. So if you're mad at Skinner, you should be mad at that. You should also look at the second Florida goal. Ty Emberson has the puck on his stick and just throws it up the boards. Florida keeps it in, quick shot, deflection goal. Right? You had complete possession of the puck and you just threw it away. If you're going to throw it away, you got to get out of the zone. And so those type of mistakes are still crushing the Oilers. If you want to say that Skinner should make, like people are saying, oh, it's an easy save. I talked to Kevin Woodley and about the shot, and here's his exact words, because everybody likes to focus on expected save percentage, right? And expect that, oh, that's an expected save. Quote, guys can make great shots, this is Woodley, on mid to low range percentage chances, and that's what makes it imperfect. Because if a player makes a great shot, like Nate Schmidt's able to walk right down the pipe, he releases that puck from inside the circle, just above the hash marks. Like, it's pretty good. That's a pretty good shooting spot. So, and then if you put it right inside the post, it's a pretty good shot. So Skinner make a great save. Okay. You want a great save there. Fine. Not going to argue that. And it's not like Skinner hasn't let in some bad goals. I get it. But the Edmonton Oilers, you can't just blame the goalie and think that's the reason they lost. I think you're really out of touch if you think it's just the goalie. It's easy to always just blame one person. I get it. Just the goalie. He's got to make the save. Well, why does the goal, if his job is to make saves, why isn't the defenseman's job on a 1-on-2 not to just give up the middle of the ice, get out muscled, and do nothing? How is that any better? Right? Why is it the defenseman who has the puck on his stick, not being pressured, just throws it away, turns into a giveaway the other way? Kasperi Kapanen in the last game. All right, we go down the list. It's easy sometimes to just say it's the goalie. I don't subscribe to, and trust me, I'm not a goalie apologist. I just think at times there are goals that you're like, hey, goalie's got to make a save. Team's playing great the whole game, right? And then the goalie lets in a dud. To me, that's not a dud. The guy walks right down the pipe. It's a really well-played shot. And the thing was, that play never should have happened. You never should have got there. Edmonton had two defensemen back and did absolutely nothing. Nothing. So, we do have the text lines humming, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Gregor, would you trade Evan Bouchard? I know that's it's a hot topic right now. Here's what I would say about trading Evan Bouchard. Offensive-minded, puck-moving defensemen are not easy to find. Okay? If you're going to get rid of one, you better have a replacement. Because if you don't, then you're searching for it. The Oilers don't have a replacement for Evan Bouchard. Not even close. Not even close. Evan Bouchard is a really good NHL player who right now is not playing up to his capabilities. But that doesn't mean he can't get back to it, and it doesn't mean he won't get back to it. I think trading Evan Bouchard, unless we're talking like a Danny Heatley, Marian Hossa type trade. So you're trading Evan Bouchard for another defenseman who's similar age and skill set. Okay, then, but those trades are very, very rare. Right then, when was the last time we saw a 1-for-1, two pretty even, really good players traded? Because make no mistake, Evan Bouchard, top 10 offensive defenseman in the NHL. It's not even a discussion. Like there's no statistic that you could show me that says he's not that. Probably closer to top 5, to be honest. So I think they got to be patient, which is hard. I get it. It's hard. And here's the thing that's the reminder of Bouchard is it's very difficult to be elite because you can be elite for one game or one season. It's hard to do it year after year. Hey, Gregor, nobody blamed Hellebuck when McDavid scored from the same place. Space and time equals goal in the NHL from Nails. Well, it's an interesting one, right? They all ripped on Matthew. How do they leave him wide open? Right? It's, people will find a scapegoat. Now they're going to say it's McDavid shooting, not Nate Schmidt. Fair. But Nate Schmidt at that moment made a perfectly well-placed shot. He did. And he was a little bit farther out than McDavid, if I'm being honest. But not a massive amount, but he was out there a little bit. So I think trading Evan Bouchard would be a trade that would come back to haunt you unless it's a similar like Hossa Heatley type trade where it's two very good players that needed a change of scenery for a different. Now, keep in mind, Marian Hossa is a better all-around player than Danny Heatley was. Danny Heatley was a back-to-back 50-goal scorer. You know what? He played really well. It worked out well for him. He went to Ottawa. It was great, right? He had some good years there playing with Spezza. No arguing that. But Marian Hossa was really good too. So that's two elite guys for those few years, and it panned out. Who are the defensemen that you would put in the category? Like we mentioned Noah Dobson. Well, Noah Dobson has yet to show he's as good as Bouchard offensively. He's probably a little bit better defensively, but you're giving up some offense. Right now, some would say, "Hey, I'd give up offense." Okay, until you don't have offense, it's always hard. You can't just replace guys. Have they replaced Cody Ceci yet? And I think Cody Ceci would be down the rung of replacement players compared to Bouchard because Bouchard does one of the hardest things, and that's produce points. But have they replaced Cody Ceci, who some people thought was easily replaceable? Proven veteran players. Now, Cece's not flashy, but he did a lot of little things well. So we'll see. I like Noah Dobson, don't get me wrong, but that's the only player I can think of who, if I was trading Evan Bouchard, that I would consider. Now, I'm not saying I would do it, but I would consider that. They're similar age, right? Dobson was the 12th overall pick. Bouchard was the 10th, right? They're pretty close at that point. Their age. Now, Dobson's a 2000. Bouchard's a 99, right? So slightly younger because Bouchard's a late 99 and Dobson's an early 2000. I think they're like 2 months apart. I got to look up their birthdays, but it's not much, right? So age is kind of a wash. Now, Dobson's had a 70-point season, which was quite good last year on the island. Not on the same power play, no question. But keep in mind, being on the Oilers power play as a defenseman, I don't care if it's Tyson Barrie, if it's Evan Bouchard, Klefbom, Nurse, they've all had success. But none of them are the first or the second, and arguably even the third option on the Oilers power play. Right? The defenseman, it's important. It's not massively imperative. It is a skill set. Don't get me wrong. As I said, to replace Tyson Barrie on the power play wasn't just going to be, anybody can do it. No, they can't. Go look at it. I'd crunched the numbers beforehand. If you went off of actual goals scored, they had scored fewer goals in more games. Now, if you went by minutes, the goals per 60 were 13.3 to 13.1, basically the same. But I bet you if I did it now, it would be a lower rate because they haven't scored much lately. So it's not a huge difference. Now, the difference is Barrie actually averaged more points than Evan Bouchard did. So Dobson is the only, when I look around defenseman, because he's a right shot, if I'm trading Evan Bouchard, which I'm not, trust me, I want to make this clear because some people like to spread falsehoods. I'm not advocating for Bouchard. I would say I wouldn't do it. The only guy I would think about doing that type of trade is Dobson. I know people are, hey, what about Roman Josi? Well, Roman Yosi's banged up, number one. Roman Josi makes $9.5 million, and Roman Josi is quite a bit older. So, is Josi a better overall player today? Yes. I would say no doubt in my mind, he's a better overall player today. Now, he's not having a great year. He's in Nashville, but this guy scored 96 points and 85 points without McDavid and Draisaitl, okay? No question, the peak of Roman Josi has been better, right? But he turns 35 this summer. How many more years does he have? Bouchard, you could make an argument, probably has 10 more years of being a highly good player. Now, his peak might not be as good as Josi when it's all said and done, offensively and defensively. That's fair. But Roman Josi, is he not coming down his peak? So I probably wouldn't do that, right? Unless you're doing it because you're like, hey, you know what? I just don't like Bouchard's defensive game. Okay. Long term might not work. For 2 years, I could argue it might work. Sure. Hey, Gregor, do you consider Bouchard elite? He's elite offensively, but no, he's not elite defensively, and that's okay. It's hard to be both, right? But again, I'm one I think I don't throw around elite easily. I think we've dummied it down, and it weakens, and it's almost insulting to the truly elite players when everybody's elite now. Oh, he had one good year, he's elite. No. Elite to me is you need multiple, like Alex Ovechkin, elite. Leon Draisaitl, elite. Right? Like somebody asked me the other day, is Kyle Connor elite? And I'm like, I wouldn't put Kyle Connor as elite. He's a really, really good scorer. He's not elite. He's never scored 50 goals. I think he scored 40 twice. To me, that doesn't make him elite. Right? Matthews, elite goal scorer. Ovechkin, elite goal scorer. Pasternak, elite goal scorer. Right? Kyle Connor, I'd probably put in like today's NHL, he's a great goal scorer. He's not elite. So like Bouchard, if I'm saying Cale Makar is elite, I can't say Bouchard's elite because he's not Cale Makar. That's how I would view it. Everybody's different, but that's how I would view it. So hey, Gregor, would you go get Trouba and Maroon? Well, I don't think Jacob Trouba's coming here. Number one, from his family life, his wife, and work opportunities. Patrick Maroon, big body. Can he get there to be physical? I don't think so. Now, we had somebody, Noel sent me a note about the Oilers hits and stuff. And here is, people, you don't need to be physical in today's game. I'm just going to point out some numbers for you. So, have the Oilers the last few seasons been a pretty good team? Yes. You have different elements at different times to your team. So, the last 3 seasons, the Edmonton Oilers averaged 22.3, 22.6, and 22.6 hits per 60, right? That's courtesy of the NHL. So basically in a 60-minute, they're averaging 22. The Oilers this season are 13.3. They are down 40%. Please do not tell me that the Oilers are physical enough and it doesn't matter if they're physical. They never run around. But the last few teams, they've had good success in the playoffs, but had more speed, were bigger, 22.6 per year. They're at 13 this year. Okay, I'm sorry. You can't tell me it's acceptable to be like, oh, we're just going to check with our sticks. I strongly disagree. It is so apparent to me that the Edmonton Oilers are lacking in physicality. Now, you can stick check on a forecheck sometimes, but sometimes you got to be able to separate the guy with the puck with your body. And the Oilers just simply don't do it enough. It's not close. So there's an element. I keep talking about it. We're a week away from trade deadline. They have to improve on that. Coming up on the show today, Chip Alexander will join us. The Oilers are in Carolina to take on the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes were the Whalers last night, and no surprise, they won. Sick unis. Although I don't love the top of the blue whale tail. I'd rather have it green, but that's just me. But it'll be a tough test for Edmonton. Carolina has not been an easy out for the Oilers for many years, just the style that they play. So, we'll see if the Oilers can avoid being swept on their 5-game road trip that wraps up tomorrow. Jody Shelley will join us. A huge game on the weekend in Columbus outdoors in the Horseshoe. It's going to be unreal. Jackets and Red Wings. Columbus won the first one last night. They'll take on Detroit again tomorrow. Craig Button will be by. Speck, Lowetide, Camp Tate, the 2-minute warning, Lorianne Muenzer. And we got lots and lots of texts to get to. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. Hey, guys, similar trade might be Subban for Shea Weber. Dobson and Bouchard can only hope to be or at the level of Weber and PK Subban. From Tim. Well, see, I thought PK Subban, I think PK Subban was overrated. He won a Norris Trophy, and then people thought he was in the same category as Shea Weber. He wasn't. I don't think he ever was. Wasn't nearly as big or as physical. And, you know what? Subban, to me, is a player who had a good career. He's not a Hall of Famer. Never going to be talked about as Hall of Famer. Evan Bouchard, trending where he's at right now, has a better chance than PK Subban ever has, right? And I would even argue Noah Dobson. They're much, Dobson for sure is more mobile than PK Subban ever was. So I know that's funny, though, that trade, Tim. A lot of analytics people were like, oh, Subban's way better than Shea Weber. No. Never was, never will be as good as Shea Weber. There's nothing that said. I don't care what numbers you want to crunch. PK Subban was never in the category of Shea Weber. Quick break. We'll return. It's the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We are coming to you live from McDavid's. Yeah, that's right. The McDonald's Calgary Trail location. The sign's up. We got the pictures up on our socials. It's Renday McDavid's all across the city and surrounding area. 97-cent fries all weekend long in honor of this. And they're going to extend the Big Mac David for a little bit longer as well, which, of course, is the double Big Mac. And we'll be giving away a few of those later on in the show. So you want to tune in. Stop in. Come. You see the big golden arches. They got the McDavid sign on it. It's a rarity, so you might want to come get a photo. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates, if you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC, call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertips. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hey, it's Andrew Walker, host of the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show, which you can check out before all the games this season. A big thank you to Cross Mitsubishi for their support. We are Sports 1440, Edmonton sports leader.
At Papa John's, we're not just in the business of making better pizza. We're in the business of making everything better. Ambitious? Perhaps. Delicious? You better believe it. Monday? Make it a pizza party. Sick of parenting? Get Papa John's on dinner duty. Date night? We've got the recipe for romance. With our never frozen dough and always fresh toppings, Papa John's is committed to making it all better. Get better today at papajohns.ca or visit any of our 50-plus locations across Alberta. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Looking at the Alberta weather forecast, wild, unpredictable, brutally tough.
When the weather turns tough, Titan Supply doesn't back down.
Titan Supply has been protecting workers from conditions like this for 50 years. We stand tall with you against the elements with the industry's best rigging, hauling, and lifting products to get you home safe. Tire chains, wire rope, round slings, chain slings, and a whole lot more. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Online at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Join us for the Canadian premiere of Yuki, the untold story of hockey legends on March 10th at Fort Hall, Rogers Place, Edmonton. Hosted by Kelly Rudy, this event features a gripping documentary celebrating over 50 NHL champions of Ukrainian-Canadian descent. Enjoy a Ukrainian-style meal and a Q&A session with Kelly and the director, Vladimir Mula. Tickets are limited, $50 for rush seating and $150 for VIP. Secure your spot now at ukrfolk.ca and be a part of this unforgettable evening.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Epcor. Stormwater ponds in Edmonton are designed to move water and runoff from streets and sidewalks, making them unsafe for winter activities. Instead, head to a community league or city rink that's safe for you. Think twice and stay off the ice. Learn more at epcor.com/winter safety.
Positive Friday as we continue on. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It is the Jason Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and it is Positive Friday. So Lotto Max, get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight's draw, good chance for you to take home $15 million. And speaking of taking home some stuff, coming up in the final few hours of the show today, you could be taking home. All right, we don't have to take it home. Maybe just eat it here, because we are live at McDavid's, the old Calgary Trail McDonald's. Most people know Calgary Trail, 51st Ave. For all of you Southsiders, North Enders, if you want to step up your game a little bit, feel free to make the trek. Of course, right off the White Mud, not very far. And it's McDavid's. Come in 97-cent fries across all McDonald's this weekend. And we'll be giving away a few Big Mac Davids later today during the show. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, baby, where, hey, as we tell you, stop in to any of them for 97-cent fries all weekend long. As well, the Big Mac David has been extended for another week in honor of the McDavid's here on Calgary Trail on the south side. So stop in and try it out. I always recommend, personally, my fave. I did try the Big Mac David. It's pretty damn good, not gonna lie. Like, I haven't had a Big Mac in a while, but the Big Mac David with a little bit more meat in it, whew, it was tasty. Maybe, I don't know if we could have a contest, maybe. I wouldn't do it, I'd lose, but I don't know how many although I don't like gluttony, so I don't think we want to promote that. But maybe we'll just give away more to more people rather than lots to one. That would probably be better. So we'll do that. Now, let's welcome to the show Chip Alexander, a longtime beat reporter from the Raleigh News and Observer, Canes reporter. Chip, as always, welcome back to the show. Thanks for taking the time. The Hartford Whaler unis seem to inspire the Canes or / Whalers last night as they came out firing, and from afar, it looked like Mikko Rantanen maybe had his best game.
Yeah, he did. And by the way, you made me a little hungry. I'd like to try one of those Big Mac Davids at some point. But no, wearing the Whalers outfit and the uniforms and everything always seems to get the fans a little bit more involved, and they love it. I think the team now has done it 9 times, and they're like 6-0-3, so they play well.
Oh, okay.
The players all seem to love it. The sports staff wears Whalers stuff. Just a complete takeover of green and white and that big logo, which everybody still seems to love. And you're right. I mean, Mikko Rantanen certainly was right in the middle of all that, picked up a power play goal, had an assist. Hurricanes got off to a 3-0 lead in the first period, and just all was going well for them. And certainly what they needed after stumbling out of the Four Nations break and losing a couple of games in Canada at Toronto and Montreal. So to come home and to jump out to a quick start, and of course you can't get past that start without the drop of the puck and an immediate fight with Jesperi Kotkaniemi and dropped it with Dylan Cousins, and they went at it. They kind of looked at each other. You want to go? Let's go. And if the crowd wasn't juiced up enough already, it was after that.
Oh my God! Like Kotkaniemi was throwing absolute bombs in that tilt right off the building must have meant nuts. I was watching the bench afterwards. His teammates were going crazy because I'm not sure many expected him to just throw it that willingly.
Yeah, I asked him after the game, and he just he kind of once you do those kind of things, you act like it's no big deal. Although it was a big deal to his teammates. And I said, you do know that you threw 5 straight rights right at him. I'm not even sure he got off a punch, and he said, I was too busy to count. I said, well, you wound it up on top, so on the ice. So I think and that's one of those things, in a way, I mean, that could have backfired too, to come out and be ready to play, which the team obviously was. But if they lost the fight right from the beginning, who knows how the rest of the start of the game would have gone. But it was all Hurricanes for the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that, it kind of ground down into what I would say is a normal NHL type game, and the Hurricanes were just a better team, winning 5-2, exactly what they needed.
The Mikko Rantanen situation, Chip, is fascinating to me. They go out, they make the big splash, they get a like a legit one of the top 10 forwards in the game, no question. Some might say even top 5, and it didn't have a huge splash offensively, although his chances, it looked like they were there. They just didn't have a lot of finish yet, but they've offered him one contract. He's turned it down. How nervous are Canes fans and how serious do you think at all any of these rumblings are if they don't have a deal by next Friday that they might move him?
Well, it's hard to say, and you've been through this enough to know that a lot of that sometimes it's just a lot of posturing and everything going on. I'm sure Andy Scott, his agent, is playing the hardball game. The Hurricanes are. I mean, there's a lot of money on the table, and the Hurricanes can offer an 8-year deal, which wouldn't be the case later, if it goes beyond July the 1st. So he, I don't know, he hadn't been here very long. It reminds me a lot, and I was here when Rod Brindamore was traded from Philadelphia to the Hurricanes way back when, and he was just in a state of shock for about the first week. I mean, he looked dazed, and he's admitted to the fact that, he went from Philly to a place like Raleigh. It's a big culture change, coaching change, the whole thing, and he wasn't quite sure where he was or what he was supposed to do. And then he finally decided, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to play hockey. And I think that's what Mikko is. It took him a while, but now that he's past the 4 nations, and I actually spoke with him yesterday morning after the morning skate, and he said it was good to get past the 4 nations, get back to Raleigh, and just concentrate on the rest of the season. And with the Hurricanes, which he made a mark of saying with the Hurricanes. And I asked him about the contract situation, and he just kind of said, I'm leaving that to my agent. So, and I'm just focusing on the hockey, which is what you expect him to say, but it was good to hear him. But he didn't sound like a guy who was ready to maybe in another week or so pack up and go somewhere else. So my gut feeling is he'll play the remainder of the season, and they'll try to work the contract deal, out before free agency.
So you look at this Hurricanes team, Chip, and you know what? They've been a team that they've lacked a real superstar, I think, and they hope that Rantanen fills that void. They've been good, but they haven't got it done when it matters most in the playoffs. And then there's also always been kind of like the injury to their goalie at the worst possible time. Where are we on Freddie Anderson? Like, are they more confident in that regard? I know Kochetkov has played some playoff games, so maybe that lessens it. But where are they on the health of Freddie Anderson? And do you think he could be healthy at the most important time this year?
Well, they're certainly hoping that, and you're right. I mean, that'll always be a question mark, especially at his age now and his, the injury history that he's had. I think Rod Brindamore is pretty much committed to alternating goalies throughout these last 23 or 4 games, and going with the hot hand probably in the playoffs. And certainly Freddie will have to show that that he can string together quality starts. But if Kochetkov is better, he may go with Kochetkov in the playoffs because he is getting to the point now he does have experience. Freddie with a lot more playoff experience, obviously, but last year in riding Freddie in the playoffs, he kind of wore down. And I don't think they want to. Obviously, they don't want to repeat that again this year. But with Frederik Andersen, always a question mark. I mean, sometimes he'll be playing very well, and then all of a sudden he'll leave a game or he'll leave a practice as he did last year abruptly, and he's out for a month or a couple of months. So last year, obviously, it was a different situation with blood clotting issue, which was very serious. But this year, more of a knee issue. But he's played a lot of games, a lot of wear and tear on that knee, and you just hope that certainly between the two of those goalies, they'll lighten the load on each other and they'll both be ready for the playoffs.
Chip Alexander joins us, beat reporter for the Carolina Hurricanes. So they've already went out and make one big move with Mikko Rantanen. And I'm with you, Chip. I think it's more likely that he stays and they try to figure out a contract. So do you see, like, I still look at that team and think, man, they need a second line center to go. Like, they got Rantanen, but he's a winger, right? And they got him playing with Aho, and that's where he should be. Do you see them taking another big swing before next Friday?
Hard to say. And, I hate to hedge on you, and I can't say for sure. I know that Eric Polsky is a pretty sly character, or he seemed to be here in this first year as a general manager. I don't think anybody saw the Rantanen deal coming, and you hadn't even mentioned Taylor Hall yet, and he's been a pretty valuable addition too. Here's a guy that's obviously a former MVP. He's getting a little age on him now, but he really would like to win a Stanley Cup. And he seems willing to do whatever he needs to do to help the team. But I think there may still be some concerns on the back end with the defense. And, they may be eyeing, and I can't give you any names really, but they may be eyeing another defensive defenseman to stick back there. They got some guys who can move the puck, but, they're still concerned. Brad Burns has got a lot of, he's got a lot of mileage on him too now. And certainly with that playing streak that he's got, he's put in once again a lot of minutes this year. Turns 40 here in a couple of days, so they may be looking at something like that. But and the other question mark that's sitting out there right now is the health of William Carrier, and certainly he's been out now for a pretty extended period of time, and they're still hoping to get him back. And he would be, because I know that Rod Brindamore was really kind of down in the dumps when he got injured. To lose him for an extended period, but to get him back would be another plus. It'd almost be like picking up a player at the deadline, but that would be with the forward. As far as the number 2 center, I don't really see a solution there, and I think they're just hoping that the guy they call KK can stand in there and get the job done. And not just with his fist.
Yeah, well, hey, he looked like a second-line fighter, that's for sure, in that tilt last night, Chip. There's no debate about that. One last one. On to Rantanen and the contract situation. There's lots of talk that, their owners always been hesitant to sign a big ticket. Do you think Mr. Dundon has recognized that, hey, if you want to get a superstar player, you got to pay him superstar money?
I think he does. I think he certainly has learned that. And, from the very beginning, in fact, we were talking about this the other day. I mean, when Peter Koumanis owned the team, especially after they won the Cup, they became more of a budget team. And when Dundon took over the team, the first thing he realized, and he said this, is if you want to be competitive in the NHL, you need to spend to the cap. Spend money on players and bring the best players in here that you can, and you can become competitive, which they have. And then at the same time, I agree with you. You recognize maybe what this team really lacks is that one big star that we can build around. And he knows the realities of the situation now. He knows how much money that will take. I think he's willing to do it. He certainly has the money to do it, and I think he is willing to do it.
Chip, it should be an interesting game tomorrow. We really appreciate your time. Enjoy it.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. That's Chip Alexander joining us from Carolina. I'm with Chip. Man, you go out and you take a big swing and you acquire Mikko Rantanen, and I get if you can't get a contract, but I think they've learned from last year where they didn't even offer Jake Gensel anything until like a week before. And by then he was kind of like, what? So they've offered Rantanen a very, fair opening contract. We're talking over $100 million, right? So you do the math, the minimum that's $12.5 million a year. So that is definitely not an insult. Don't ever tell me that's an insult to a player. So, because I know there was talk, he wants to get paid like Draisaitl. Why? He's not Leon Draisaitl. He's not a center, and he's never won a Hart. Draisaitl could probably win his second Hart. Right? He's not a 4-time 50-goal scorer. He's not the same player. He's a really good player, but he's not the same. So I think Mikko Rantanen, now people can say, oh, the cap's going up. Yeah, but Leon Draisaitl's contract kicks in next year when the cap's going up. So I could easily, if I'm Tom Dunn, hey, you want to make 13.9, that would be the max. You're not making as much as Leon Draisaitl because you're not as good. And the contracts start at the same time, right? And then coming off this year, look at Draisaitl to Rantanen, right? It's just everybody I think is going to take Leon Draisaitl over Mikko Rantanen. I don't think anybody's going to debate that. So he'll get a good contract. I don't think you should get the Leon Draisaitl type of money. Quick break. We'll return. We'll talk about the stress. It is stressful the next week for players because, there's guys who are likely maybe to get traded. There's some that don't know they're getting traded. And then all of a sudden it happens and you got to quickly adjust on the fly. If you're married with kids, you hug your kids, you say goodbye and you're like, well, sorry, honey, good luck packing up the house. Like it's, there's now Rich Winter outlined that, you have things that help out. It makes it a little bit less stressful, but it's definitely not that easy. And then if your kids are in school, well, they're not coming. Most people aren't going to uproot their kids in school during the year, especially if you're going, out of the country. So, there's lots of stuff at play. So we'll talk a little bit about the mental side of it when we return. It's the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. We're coming to you live at McDavid's. Yeah, that's right. McDavid's, the McDonald's on Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue has been renamed McDavid's. For a short period of time for fun, you want to get the picture where 97-cent fries. And I'll tell you next hour how you can win a big Mac David as we return here on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit FemaleSuperLeague.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
I couldn't love it. Amore. With no payments and no interest for 1 year.
Are you
can shoot the puck really hard as a shiny thing.
I have no filter.
I don't.
Legacy.
All right, take care, Lowetide.
At Papa John's, we're not just in the business of making better pizza. We're in the business of making everything better. Ambitious? Perhaps. Delicious? You better believe it. Monday, make it a pizza party.
Steve Lansky.
Parenting, get
From
Papa
inside
John's on dinner duty. Date night, we've got the recipe for romance. With our never frozen dough and always fresh toppings, Papa John's is committed to making it all better. Get better today at papajohns.ca or visit any of our 50-plus locations across Alberta. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
For the next hockey game, you can have your say with the Sports 1440 postgame show. This is your host, Andrew Walker. Join us and give your takes on the game, good or bad. It's all brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery in St. Albert. The postgame show on Sports 1440.
The All-Timers Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. Don't miss the Champions Luncheon on Friday, April 25th at the Edmonton Convention Center. Tables are on sale now. This year's event is hosted by accomplished sports journalist and author Scott Morrison and features the legendary locker room tales of Mike Keenan. Iron Mike grew from a highly respected NHL player to one of the most passionate coaches in hockey history. For more information or to purchase your Champions Luncheon table, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
The temperature has dropped, and so have our prices. Join us at Vision RV now through Sunday for our free, that's right, free indoor sale. During this massive event, you'll save up to 30% off your new RV with no payments for 6 months OAC. trailers for just $12,900. Over 200 RVs in stock, 40 units indoors, so you can shop in comfort. We're clearing them out to make room for spring inventory to beat the tariffs. So don't miss these deals now through Sunday here at Vision RV, south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Metal Supermarkets is locally owned, locally operated. They love this city and serving its people. We're talking metal cut to your exact specifications fast. In fact, at Metal Supermarkets, they're as Edmontonian as saying, cold enough for you? Or when's playoffs start? Or what's with the silver balls and the white mud? Any project, any size, count on your kindred spirits at the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118.
We roll through a lovely, positive Friday. Oh, man, we got a lot of giveaways coming up in the final 3 hours of the show. So it's Positive Friday. If you like to eat, maybe you feel like, you know what, I deserve it. I've been on the fence. I haven't tried the Big Mac David. Well, we're live at McDavid's Calgary Trail. So all of you who are on the south side and want to come to the south side, don't worry. I can. We'll be giving some of those away to those texting, and there's those who are close. First come, first serve. That's always nice. So. I'll let you know after 3 o'clock. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger is down here making sure everything is good to roll. So be sure to stop in all weekend at any McDonald's this weekend. 97-cent small fries in honor of the new Mick Davids on Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue as we welcome in gold medalist Lorianne Muenzer joins us every Friday. Also mental coach Lorianne. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, doing all right. How are you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm very good. It's a beautiful day. It's outside. There's minor hockey playoffs are going on. All the kids are fired up this weekend, so that should be great. So it's a lot of fun. Obviously, Oiler fans aren't having a lot of fun right now on a 5-game losing streak. But I wanted to talk to you today, Lorianne, about we talk a lot about the mental side of the game, and athletes, even retired athletes, and even retired anybody. If all of a sudden you've worked your whole life and then boom, you got retired. Like a lot of people, like we hear about athletes struggling all the time, and I get it, I should, but I know lots of people who try to retire at 55 or 60, or even they retire at 65 and they're kind of lost. Like they're just like, I don't know what the hell to do. And it seems in theory like, oh, this is great. You could sleep in, you don't have to go to work. But after the first month, it's kind of like, ooh, it's pretty hard. And then some people get down, right? Because at work, sometimes we're winning, right? Like you feel like you're accomplishing something when you're working. Right. So in essence, I could say if you like your job, you're probably winning in life a little bit more often. Right. So how do you work on the mental side? Because when it's winning, maybe it's a different stress, but when you're down, it's much harder.
It is. And I see that with a lot of people who have retired, older generation making that transition, but also to a lot of younger athletes or even athletes as they're starting to get to the end of their career is like, okay, well, what do I do? And one of the things is when you're in that, and I call it a rut, it's probably one of the hardest things to get out of because that's usually all that you can think of because it becomes all consuming. And what I always recommend is what are the things that you love to do? What are some of the things that you haven't had a chance to do? And a lot of times it means putting pen to paper, thinking back to those different things that you used to do when you were winning, when things were going really good. There's usually a core collective group of people that you are around or that are around you that are really, I call them cheerleaders, right? They're game changers. They help go, okay, well, maybe we need maybe a little bit more social aspect. If you're like so serious, focusing only on the game, or if you're injured or you're down in that rut and you just can't get out, it's like, okay, let's change the environment. And that is the number one thing, but also get yourself out and around really great people, one that maybe know you. Also, number two is sometimes get out with new people, and sometimes just changing it up like that is a really, really great start, because getting out of that funk is one of the hardest things to do. So number one, who your support system is a game changer right there.
How do you get out of the funk?
A lot of it sometimes is not as much in your head, because I always say when you're in your head, you're dead. And a lot of times we start to turtle, we get smaller, we get quieter, we get more inside than outside. So number one, get outside. I know that we're not at the minus 35, minus 40 right now, so that's a bonus. But also two is get out and do something different. Get out into the community. Do something where you're actually around people, because there's an energy thing around being around people, where it's just that will start to uplift the energy, uplift the spirit, and you got to do something constructive. That's my biggest recommendation, right? Go volunteer, go clean up the neighborhood. I mean, right now is a perfect time. We've got a lot of snow that's melting. There's a lot of stuff on the side of the roads. Maybe go around and clean up the park, right? Clean up your neighborhood, but go and do it with a couple other people. Call up your friends and say, look, can I come shadow you? Can I just come hang out? I'm in a bit of a rut. I'm in a funk and I want to get out of it, but I also need some help too. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, is to go, I need some help. I need to be around some good people and some really good energy.
So that's obviously important. Now it's interesting you mentioned that when you're in your head, you're dead, because in high level sports, the game is so fast. Whatever the sport is, it doesn't matter. If you're in cycling, it's super quick, right? You got to make a split-second decision. I'm going to go for it now. If I hesitate, the window's closed, I probably lose, right? In hockey, we see it that if you overhandle the puck, you're thinking rather than just reacting. Well, now the window that you had is closed down. Boom, it becomes a turnover, and then sometimes it ends up in the back of your net. And I think we're seeing that right now with a lot of the Edmonton Oilers. You know, when you have players like Evan Bouchard's a highly skilled player. Evan Bouchard, to me, is a very good player who right now isn't playing up to his potential. And it happens. Lots of guys do it. But some players get out of it, regardless of sport. And then sometimes, Lorianne, I'm sure you've had times where, you know, you're in it for 2 months, right? Like it's easy to say, well, just stop thinking about it, right? The longer it goes, it becomes even harder, right? Because now you're trying to dig yourself out, and sometimes you end up digging even more, right? When you lack the confidence like that as a high level athlete, can you explain why it's not easy to just get it back right away?
Oh, you know, it's something that the sport, Jason, is all that you focus on, especially if you're a full-time athlete. That's all you have to do. You just got to show up for training. You just got to show up for your games, your events, whatever it is. And there's a lot of downtime. So part of this is, what am I doing here? And sometimes you got to do this, and I call it, this is going to be totally out from right field from what we would normally do as human beings, is do the illogical, because we go with the logical. We get into that routine. We go, go, go. The one thing with athletes is we are so good at following a schedule. We're told when to get up. Sometimes we're told when to go to sleep. We're told when we're going to train, when we're going to eat lunch, when we're going to eat breakfast. We do a team dinner. We got a team meeting. So everything is scripted and it's scheduled. And I have to tell you, one of the hardest things for me was flipping that switch, going from, I know every minute of every hour of every day is like, it's calculated. And then I got really messed up when I would have one day off, or I would have a couple of days off, because you're so used to being scheduled that, well, if you haven't thought about it and you've got a couple of days off, you go the opposite way. You're completely lost. So that's where doing the illogical, number one, start thinking about all of those bucket list things that you want to do. You know, if you want to go on a vacation, where you're going, who you're going with, start mapping those things out, because there's going to come a time when you get injured, you get hurt, and you're sidelined. So if you think about it ahead of time, then your mind is It's not in that paralysis of going, oh my gosh, I've never been here. You've already run through it going, well, I know I'm going to do this. I'm going to call this person. I'm going to go here. I'm going to help out the team here, or I'm going to be part of these different events. Same thing as in the off season. I see a lot of athletes going 3 weeks off. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because again, it's that routine. It's that scriptedness. I know exactly where everything is structured to. And sometimes just having that extra time off is actually really scary because you haven't thought about it. And I think that's like right at the top of the show, you said here, you know, even if you're retired 55, 60, 65 years old, most people think about retirement the day they retire. They don't think about planning it and pre-booking it ahead of time, right? It's like, let's take a year and a half and actually think about, like, where are you going to spend the other 23 hours? Or if you sleep 7 or 8 hours a day, what are you going to do with the 16 hours? Because 16 hours can be a long time of doing nothing. And day after day after day, that's why you see a lot of high performers, even CEOs, where they go, yeah, I'm out of retirement. 3 months was great. I needed a break. Good. I'm bored. And that's the problem. Boredom is like death. It's like the worst thing you can do, because our brain needs a couple of things. Number one, nutrition. We have to have exercise. We have to have routine. We have to have a challenge, but we also have to have variety. And then, of course, we need sleep to, you know, rejuvenate, recharge, so that we can refire again and just get going and rock it, right? So it's those things there. Is if you haven't thought about what are you doing when you retire, think about it before you retire. Athletes, same thing.
Oh, it's so funny, Lorianne, because I can tell you, like, I've mapped out my mornings when I retire. And I'm not retiring for a long time, but I pretty much know exactly what I'm going to do from the time I wake up until noon. Now, the afternoon, I'm not really sure. So, but I've got up to that point because I want to, well, I say noon because then I'm going to be a napper. I love napping. I think I could be a professional napper. So I look forward to that. But I have the morning, but there is a lot of other hours after that. And I think that makes sense, is to be like, okay, like, I'm going to have an hour a day to read, for instance, right? And I'm going to read different things, or, you know, whatever you're going to do, volunteer. Like, you have to find something. You can't just, you know, I think probably you need a month to detox, and some people like it. Oh, I got nothing to do. I have no responsibilities. That's great, which is good. It's very good. But after a while, you're kind of like, well, I've had responsibilities. I would like to have some more. Now, quickly, I want to get your thoughts on some of these big numbers that are being chased here. Michaela Schifrin, of course, is going for 100 wins. Lindsey Vonn has 82, and she's trying to chase a comeback to see if she can qualify for the Olympics again. But, you know, 100 wins for Schifrin on the hill is pretty huge. And Canadian Michael Kingsbury just won his 97th World Cup.
Yep. Those are huge numbers. I mean, Michaela just hit that 100th win this week. Lindsey Vonn is coming up. The cool thing about Lindsey is 40. She's 40 years old. She's the bionic woman, as far as I'm concerned. She's got a reconstructed knee. She's coming back after a 6-year hiatus. So a lot of mental preparation going into what she's going after right now. She wants to qualify for the 2026 Olympics in Milan. So a lot of things going on there. I mean, she knows what it's like to be on top of the world, literally one of the fastest women decorated. Michaela Schifrin is coming up. She's surpassed her, and she's just continuing to go. We've got Kingsbury, Canadian. He's just won his 97th World Cup Mogos event. And I'm going, okay, well, I don't think the newspapers have really thought about that when they were talking about Michaela Schifrin. And it's just like, okay, the mental tenacity and the visioning that is going on with athletes at this level is a total game changer. Injuries, yes, sidelined. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to come up, but they definitely have a big, broad vision that they're just, okay, you know, the time is counting. They're both going for the Olympics. Again, more multiple wins. And it's just really a lot of the focus here that is really key and essential, Jason.
Lorianne, have yourself an awesome weekend. Thanks so much for this. We'll talk to you again next Friday.
You betcha. Have a good weekend.
There you go. That's Lori Ann Muenzer joins us every Friday here on Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, coming to you live today from Mick David's, the old McDonald's on 51st and Calgary Trail for all of you Southsiders. And when we return, I'll tell you how you can get yourself a double Big Mac, the Big Mac David. But first, the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where right now they are hiring. HVAC installers, and plumbers. You get a hiring bonus for the right candidate. Also, highly competitive wages, RRSP matching, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply today at legacyheating.ca.
Light night in the NHL with just 3 games on the schedule. Starting off at 5, you got the Leafs in New York to take on the Rangers. At 6, the Kings in Dallas. Then at 7 o'clock, the Avs hosting the Minnesota Wild in the association. Raptors in Chicago to take on the Bulls. That'll get going at 6 o'clock. You also have the Thunder up against the Hawks. Pistons host the Nuggets. Cavs taking on the Celtics. Grizz and Knicks. Pelicans in the desert to meet the Suns. Jazz host the Timberwolves. And it's the Battle of Los Angeles from Crypto.com Arena with the Lakers hosting the Clippers. In the WHL, the Oil Kings on the road. They'll be in PA to take on the Raiders. That gets going at 6. And the AJ Spruce Grove Saints on the road in Penticton taking on the V's. That gets going just after 8 o'clock. In the Edmonton area, the Crusaders hosting the Black Bulls at Sherwood Park Arena at 7. And in the AJ, GP hosting Whitecourt. Old in Lloyd. Crane Valley meets Canmore. And Fort Mac hosting Devon. Can West playoffs. Pandas hockey in action down at the Drake this weekend hosting Mount Royal in their best of 3 semifinal series tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. All games get going at 7 o'clock. The Golden Bears on the flip side are on the road taking on Mount Royal in Calgary tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday at the Flames Community Arena. And it was a great night for the U of A at the Saville Center last night as both the Bears and Pandas volleyball won their first matchup in straight sets. They'll do it again tonight with a chance to wrap up the series. Pandas host Winnipeg at 6, and at 8 o'clock it's Calgary and the Golden Bears going at it. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Jody Shelley, Columbus Blue Jackets analyst, and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertips. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
It's the season for love, and you're about to fall hard for the vehicle of your dreams. Presenting the outstanding 2025 XC90 from Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, you can lease your 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $4,600. Or finance a 2025 XC60 from 1.49% and save $1,500. All while being deeply infatuated by the newly upgraded, highly attractive body and wheel design. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you need it immediately with no overtime rates,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Carius to Lowetide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
At Papa John's, we're not just in the business of making better pizza. We're in the business of making everything better. Ambitious? Perhaps. Delicious? You better believe it. Monday? Make it a pizza party. Sick of parenting? Get Papa John's on dinner duty. Date night? We've got the recipe for romance. With our never frozen dough and always fresh toppings, Papa John's is committed to making it all better. Get better today at papajohns.ca or visit any of our 50-plus locations across Alberta. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
What is with the weather lately? Is it winter? Is it an early spring? It's like Mother Nature's a hockey referee that can't quite figure out what an offside or a penalty is. Napa Auto everything you need to make the right call for your vehicle. Whether it's antifreeze, washer fluid, wiper blades, or that mysterious part you swear you just replaced, Napa has you covered. Because your vehicle deserves consistency. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store or napacanada.com for all your trusted parts, tools, equipment, and automotive needs. That's Napa know-how.
Planning for your future. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your 2024 taxes, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. Don't wait. The deadline to qualify for 2024 tax deductions is March 3rd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Awesome. Friday. How are you? Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you. Gregor Show is always presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. The Lotto Max, $15 million up for grabs tonight. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As it is Positive Friday, so you know what? Hey, we'll make your Friday a little bit more positive. So you know what? The next, I'll say 5. The first 5 people who come up to me here at McDavid's, the code word, of course, will be McDavid. And myself and Declan Kruger, you come in to McDavid's, first 5 people, and you'll get yourself a tasty Big McDavid meal with the fries, the burger, and the drink. Okay? First 5 people. Stop in. We are Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue. Don't speed. Don't get in an accident. Obey the rules of the road. Come in. You'll have to come up to our table. You'll see Declan and now I don't know if you want to whisper. Maybe I should just blow sweet nothings in his ear. That would be nice. But you come up to the D-man and you give him the code word, and you'll get it. Okay, for the first 5 people. So there we go. Nice little extra positive Friday for you. We got loads of text to get to. I love it. People are fired up. So we're gonna get some of these. Hey, Gregor, look at analytics. Bouchard clears Dobson in almost all defensive categories from Braden. Well, Braden, sure, but do you believe that the situation in New York is equivalent to the situation in Edmonton? Do you think, does Noah Dobson, who are Noah Dobson's most common line mates? Connor McDavid? Matthias Ekholm? Leon Draisaitl? Because make no mistake that when you play with McDavid and Draisaitl, it's going to help your defensive numbers because you're going to be spending less time defending. Simply because, you know what? Hey, McDavid gets the puck. Those guys, they have more offensive possession time than almost anybody in the league. So, as Kevin Woodley outlined for goalies, if you take, a goalie's numbers on this team, and then you say, okay, his save percentage is this, his goals. Well, if you put him onto this team, it's going to be the same. Not always the case, right? You have to break down, well, what do they do well? And I think if you just look and say, okay, look at his shots for, goals for, expected goals, it's only when he's on the ice, but who he's on the ice with really impacts that positively or negatively, right? If you're a good player on a really bad team, it's hard to have good numbers, even if you're a good player, right? Like the New York Islanders have, like Noah Dobson, the Islanders power play, it's not last year was decent, but if you just look strictly from a power play perspective, the offensive numbers, it's hard to match when you're on the Islanders power play as a defenseman compared to the Oilers power play as a defenseman. Even if you're equal in skill, the guy who's in Edmonton is going to get more points because he's got McDavid and Draisaitl on his power play. It's just a fact, right? Because most power plays across the league, the defenseman isn't the main focal point of it. Like Cale Makar is a little bit of a unicorn in that sense, right? Like as good as Bouchard is, he's not the focal point in the Oilers power play. I think everybody would agree with that, right? So I don't know if you can just look at the numbers. You got to go through a lot of different things to say that Bouchard is a way better defender because of the publicly available analytics. I think that's a little misleading. I wouldn't necessarily do it. Hey, Jason, stop making sense. It's time we stop referencing Jay Fresh's cards. Yeah, I know. Like, hey, I see those cards, and do they have some value? Yes, but the way that some people present them, like they're the gospel, and everything about them says they're 100% correct, right? Like 1 year, Darnell Nurse was 2% on the penalty kill when the Oilers had the best penalty kill in the NHL. How's that even work? How's that possible? It makes no sense to me. So, the cards, they can give you some stuff, and what you did last year is irrelevant. That's the thing, right? From year to year, a player's cards will change because it's hard to be the same player all the time. The guys who do it, that's great. Whether you're defensive or offensive, it's hard. There's lots of elements. Can they give you an insight to say, hey, wait a sec, let's dig deeper? 100%. There's value, but it's not like I'm going to trade a player based solely off of a card. It makes no sense, right? Like none. You got to take the card. Oh, geez, maybe this guy is worse than I think. Maybe he's better than I think. Let's go find the video now to see if it matches, right? That's the key. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, good example. Look at Barry's numbers on our power plays. Hasn't been the same since he left. Well, yeah, he got older for sure. Right. And yeah, he's not as good of a power play. Like, is he any less effective on a power play, or is the guys he's playing with less effective? Right. 100%. Right. Now, he was a good offensive player for a long time, top 10 in the league for a decade as a defenseman. Right. Very productive. And that's going through many different teams. But eventually, yes, to go from Edmonton's power play, I don't care who you are as a defenseman. If you took Evan Bouchard today and put him on another team's power play, odds of his numbers being the same. Now, maybe Tampa Bay. You put him on Tampa? Probably. But there's very few. And that's not a knock on Bouchard. It's just the guys he's going to be on the power play with aren't as skilled. They're not going to make the plays that McDavid and Draisaitl make. They just don't. And, hey, Gregor, what are your thoughts on the Draisaitl goal last night? Imagine if one of the Oilers defensemen got beat like that. Well, hey, Forsland's a pretty good defenseman, isn't it? That play by Leon Draisaitl last night, Mike, just shows you what type of season Leon Draisaitl has having. And that's where, when all things are equal, like you look at Forsland's in good position, but Draisaitl's bigger and stronger, was able to, and Forsland's a really good skater. Like even the best guys in the league are going to get beat sometimes when they go up against the other team's best players. It just happens. And so that's a great example of, hey, Leon Draisaitl, there's a guy who is feeling it. And just even in this losing streak, it's the one guy who continues to play well. So we welcome in Wanye Gretz. Wanye, what did you make of last night's game? Like the Oilers, I thought of their 5 losses, that was actually their best performance.
Live on remote at McDavid's, I thought I can either go home and listen to the Gregor Show and hear what you have to say about where we're at, or I can go on there and ask you directly to your face what we need to do and how badly we should be panicking.
Well, I don't think the Oilers need to panic, but I've said this because I've been consistent in my evaluation on the Oilers all year long. I've been saying for months things that they need, and I'm not going to change. This team needs some more energy, guys. And I'll break down very simple numbers for anybody out there, because some people think that you don't need to hit to win in the NHL. Okay. So I'll just for fun, the Edmonton Oilers, the last 3 seasons, I think they've been pretty good. Right, in the regular season, fairly consistent, 100-point team, every year, right? The Edmonton Oilers in 2022 averaged 22.64 hits in 62 hits. In 2023, it was 22.64. In 2024, it was 22.36. Basically the same. This year, they're at 13.3%, like a 40% drop. Anybody who tells me that the Edmonton Oilers are fast enough, are energetic enough, or physical enough, I'm sorry. There's nothing that backs it up. And that's what they need. So, and I don't buy for a moment the argument that the GM can't make other moves because Evander Kane might come back and play. I don't care if Kane plays in March or if he plays in April. Maybe he doesn't play until the playoffs. I don't know. But that can't, you have to have 2 plans. Here's the plan that if Kane comes back. So I know, obviously, I don't have as much money to spend. Pretty simple. I know that. Now I have the plan that Kane isn't coming back. Now I have more. Great. But just because he comes back doesn't mean you can't make moves. The Edmonton Oilers made trades in 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024 at the deadline. 3 of those years, they were in LTIR. They had no cap space. And they still managed to get Brett Kulak one year. One year they got Matthias Ekholm. One year they got Nick Bukestad. Like, they added guys. So I don't want to hear from one more media person or anybody around the Oilers that, well, geez, if we have Evander Kane coming back, we can't make any moves. It's bogus. They had no cap space because they were in LTIR in a few of those seasons and still made trades. Is it hard? Sure. It's not impossible, and you can do it. And I think the Oilers, they got to do it. They've got to make some moves to upgrade. Like, for instance, you could go out and get McCarron and, whatever pick you got to give up, and you say, Nashville, you're taking Kapanen because he makes more. So now I don't have to eat any money. They don't have to eat any money, and it's simple. You're actually saving $100,000, right? There's one trade. Now, you can do other ones, but you got to get creative, right? They threw in guys to make deals work before, right? You could do. Remember when they convinced Carolina? I don't know how they did it, but they convinced Carolina to take Jesse Puljujarvi, and Edmonton retained no salary. That was unbelievable move by Ken Holland, an unbelievable trade to convince a team to take a player at a $3 million cap hit and retain nothing. It was phenomenal. Like, basically, Edmonton got basically future considerations for him. So don't tell me it can't be done, because it can be. And I wouldn't panic if I'm the Edmonton Oilers. I think they got a lot of good pieces, but they got to upgrade. They got to get a little quicker, and they got to add some grit at the minimum. I think they need a 4th line right shot center. Then if you have to go on the big swing because Kane isn't coming back, which seems less likely, then you can look at maybe a right shot defenseman or a scoring winger. But please don't tell me that the Oilers can't make any moves because they don't have a lot of cap space. Boo freaking who, and they've actually proven they can do it before.
I don't think that people quite understand too it's not like playing 2K where you just propose a trade and it goes through. Like, why would other teams want to help the Edmonton Oilers address their holes, right? There's a lot of teams out there that'd be like, I'm sure the Oilers would like an upgrade in net perhaps if a deal was available. Why would I deal them into the game?
Well, because some of these teams, it depends on the situation, right? Like, why would Carolina, a playoff team, you know what? They valued analytics. So you're like, okay, hey, they want to take Jesse Puljujarvi. All right, we got cap space. We'll take a swing. And they did it, and it didn't work, right? Montreal, they got a 2nd rounder. They were a team that was going nowhere. So they got a 2nd rounder for Brett Kulak, who's turned out to be unreal. And by the way, you had to take on William Lagesson. And I think it was like a $200,000 difference when it was all said and done. Because at that time, Kulak, I think, was making $950, right? So, you just got to find it. It's not about those teams think you're going to help them because Edmonton's going to have to give them a draft pick of some sort, right? So you can do it. I don't think it's difficult at all. Just got to go do it. It's hard, sure, but just because it's hard doesn't mean you can't do it, right? And we know that there's teams out there that are open for business because they're looking for draft picks. Now, maybe they want a 2nd. You only want to give them a 3rd. Well, that's why you negotiate. You don't just walk in there and, hey, Wanye, I want a 1st rounder. Okay, well, I'll just give you a 1st rounder. No, you got to negotiate. So Stan Bowman, he's not a rookie GM. This guy's been around the league for many years. This is not his first time. So, I think he's more than capable of doing it, but he has to do it.
If you're going to give up a 1st round draft pick, if you're Stan Bowman, a lot has to be coming back.
Keep in mind, this the 1st round draft pick you're giving up isn't a top 10. Right? Not all 1st round draft picks are the same. Right? Now the Oilers don't have a 1st in this year, right? Because they traded at the draft to get O'Reilly, who they quite like. But would they give up next year's? I guess they could. So to me, yeah, you're not just giving away a 1st rounder, but at the same time, if I'm the Edmonton Oilers, am I worrying about a pick that could be 25 to 32 to say, well, geez, I can't do it. I'm not going to get a really good player because I don't want to do it. It all depends on where you're at. Like the Edmonton Oilers for the next minimum, I would think, when McDavid resigns, the Edmonton Oilers got another 7-year window of being competitive. If they're smart, right? They can't be what Pittsburgh's done and, have the last 5 years be brutal. They don't want that, but they should be competitive. You got to make a few better moves. I'll say this. They got to have better evaluation than they had now, it wasn't Stan Bowman. He wasn't here when they opted to take in Arvidsson and Skinner, right? And now, well, some fans and media people thought, hey, not bad. That's okay, but it's not our job, right? It's our job to talk about it. I wasn't the one who made the trade. So it's the evaluation by the guys who had to make the trade and make the signings, and so far it hasn't worked.
If you're the Oilers, like, there's off-grid deals. Nobody saw Ekholm trade coming. And I don't think that anybody really...
exactly.
Yeah, and I don't think...
Ken Holland even said it.
And yet here they are, right? They're pulling trigger on deals that just sort of come out of left field. Do you think the Oilers are going to actually be active between now and the deadline? Or like, there's a difference between what we'd like to see and what we do see?
I see no reason why they shouldn't be. Give me one good reason why they can't be active. Because don't pull a Peter Chiarelli. Oh, it's hard to find certain player. Oh, right. Other guys around the league do it. Yeah, it might be hard. It doesn't mean it's impossible. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't look at everything. Like, I expect Stan Bowman over the next week to be calling many different general managers. He's got to know exactly what's out there. Because as Ken Holland said, you know, when he had spoke to Nashville 2 months earlier, Matthias Ekholm wasn't available. Then when he talked to him again a week before, he was. So things change. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. I don't know why a team will suddenly make a player available. We don't know, right? Like, you never know. So that's why you got to be on the ball and you got to be calling. And Stan Bowman, he's got to be active. Like, to me, there's no excuse. There's absolutely none. You've got 2 of the top 5 players in the world, maybe 2 of the top 3 in the world. There is no reason not to be aggressive and assertive and go fix the holes, because to me, it's pretty obvious what their holes are for this team. And you know, getting a few guys with energy, that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, right? Like, hey, if you want to get a legit second pair right defenseman, I understand that's going to cost you a lot more, right? Like, going out and getting Matthias Ekholm, the return was a lot higher than getting Brett Kulak. Now, Brett Kulak's been a really good player for your team. I'd say that was a win of a trade by a mile. It's been a great trade, right? So you could go out there and find a guy like that. You just can't tell me that they're not available. It was William Lagesson and a second. Okay? Like, that's it. That's all it was. Hey, boys, any chance of swapping Bjorkstrand and Art for Arvidsson? Well, I think Edmonton would do it. But if you're Seattle, ask yourself, why am I doing that? The only reason is because it would save you $1 million in cap hit. That's it. Right? But does Arvidsson make you better? He's older. He's smaller. Yeah, if I'm Edmonton, I would love to do it, but I don't see how, right? I don't see how. It would be challenging for sure. Hey, if you're making your way, Greg, you give it? No, we still have a few 2 of the Big Mac Davids available. If you want to come and get them, we are at Calgary Trail, 51st Ave. It's the new McDavid. Stop in, just say hi. Use the code word McDavid, and we will send you on your way with the Big Mac David meal, which is Big Mac David fries and a drink here, courtesy of McDavid's, formerly McDonald's. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The 2025 Ram 1500 Motor Trends Truck of the Year in St. Albert Dodge is knocking 10% off the price. That's right, 10% off every single Ram 1500 they have in stock, and over 100 are available. These are the 2025's new interior and drivetrain options with increased horsepower and better fuel economy. Other dealers save their best deals for last year's model. At St. Albert Dodge, they're taking 10% off the newest, hottest truck on the lot. That's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Wow.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Your courtside seat awaits on Sports 1440. I'm Paul Sir, and I host the basketball show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Don't miss it. I'll catch you this weekend.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing. But it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Planning for your future. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your 2024 taxes, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. Don't wait. The deadline to qualify for 2024 tax deductions is March 3rd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Sometimes it feels like you work, sleep, and, well, that's about it. When you finally get a break for something different. At Edmonton's best games room, Top Shots Billiards and Ping Pong. Unwind with championship tables, a state-of-the-art golf simulator, and 15,000 feet of games and fun for all ages. Top Shots is a fully licensed bar and restaurant with dozens of flat screens. #1 for parties, for bookings for any size. Top Shots, the best thing to happen at pool since chalk. In Millwoods and at topshots.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
.325. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. What a beautiful sunny day it is outside. The melt continues on. And hey, speaking of melt, you wanted to melt in your mouth the Big Mac David. Stop in at McDavid's. That's where we're at, the formerly McDonald's, of course, on Calgary Trail, 51st Avenue. Come in, stop in. Just come up to our table where Declan and I are and just look at one of us and say McDavid, and we will give you a free Big Mac David meal, fries, burger, and a drink. So stop in 51st Avenue and Calgary Trail. So come on over, say McDavid, and that's what you will get. As we're going to get to the, we'll go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, where, hey, they always encourage you to take actions on your savings. You've been thinking about it, sitting on the fence. Should I get solar on my home? Should I get it on my commercial building? Well, they can walk you through all the ways. There's lots of great savings that could be had right now. Learn more, actionelectrical.net. And tomorrow afternoon at the Horseshoe outdoor game should be a beauty. It's also what I love about it, it's the second half of consecutive games between the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets. Jody Shelley, analyst for the Blue Jackets, joins us. And Jody, it's been an emotional season to say the least for the Blue Jackets. Obviously started awfully off of the ice with the sudden passing of Johnny Gaudreau. And it just seems that this team has become closer. The communities, and really the whole hockey community has embraced him. And I think a lot of people are cheering on the Blue Jackets. And, led by Zach Werenski, man, they are right in the mix. It's got to be one of the most enjoyable seasons you've ever had as a broadcaster.
You know what? It really is, Jason. It's actually quite incredible because, a team with no expectations, as you mentioned, the tragedy to start. And how do you handle that? How does the group handle it? And what does the rest of the season look like? And these guys have helped each other off the ice, on the ice. They've been there for each other. They've mourned together. They grieve together. They play for the joy of Johnny and Matthew and Gaudreau. And you can feel it. You can feel they keep his presence alive. Like, little stories when they come out of the locker room and they'd be like, oh, Johnny would have been gone 20 minutes ago, and then they chuckle and, at the dinner meal, they're keeping that guy alive, keeping that spirit alive. And when you see them play and the acquisitions they've made, and you mentioned Zach Werenski, it's amazing, right? We all get upset when players get out. It's like, oh no, not, for us, it was Boone Jenner. Oh no, what are we going to do? The captain's out. Branson's out. Leadership. Who's going to step up? Is anybody going to step up? Well, Zach Werenski stepped up and put himself in a couple situations where he would say, to the media, he would say, it's unacceptable how we played tonight. And when you do that, you drive home, you get ready for practice the next day, you better show up and you better show us what's acceptable. And he did that a few times this year, plus many other little things and big things. And then you add his play on the ice. It's been incredible to watch the evolution of this player and in the leadership role, and he's healthy. I mean, that's huge for Zach Werenski. He's missed a lot of time, shoulder surgeries. He's had puck in the face. He's had a lot of different things happen in his career. But this story is probably the best, definitely the most sentimental one in the National Hockey League, and one I think every other market is pulling for. And now they're a legit team. They went into Detroit last night in a desperate situation, and I feel like they manhandled them there in Detroit.
Well, they did, right? You even heard Todd McClellan, their head coach, who said, hey, man, we had a lot of our best guys who weren't there. But, Columbus, they scored a lot of goals, Jody. And now they give up a lot, so maybe, but they got, I think they're first or second as far as total goals per game. Like, they are playing exciting hockey. If you want entertainment and like lead changes and stuff, there's no better team to watch than the Blue Jackets.
You know what? 5-on-5, they're second, I think. And goals from the back end, I think they're first.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, they're fun to watch. They went down 1-0 last night, and they're not a fragile team. They just dialed it up. Dean Evanston has come in here and put in a really, I wouldn't say simple, but it's a very defined, but there's also areas of it where, use your skill and your read and your talent. It's not a non-negotiable moment in the defensive zone. You have to be available. You have to be in an area. You have to know your outs. But they take a lot of pride in breaking out the puck. They practice their breakout every single day and understanding that how important it is to be efficient in that area. And it really shows. They bypass the neutral zone. They're on the same page there. There's a few ways to get through it. And then they want to get on the hunt. And it doesn't matter if it's a defenseman. If a defenseman goes on the hunt on the forecheck, he's allowed to stay in there as long as he wants. He can set up camp and the forward has got to stay back. And what that does is, you see guys go in, D goes in and kind of drifts off, lets that guy off the hook. Dean Evanston wants him to stay. Like, you pound, you stay in the battle, go to the net, whatever you got to do. And it's really fun to watch those little plays and those things evolve throughout the game because they're on the same page. And I think that's really a critical part of a new coach is to have success with that new plan early. And I think that's what's led to a lot of their offense.
Jody Shelley joins us, analyst for the Blue Jackets. And, Jody, what's great about this two-game little mini series is that these two teams are right in the hunt, in the Eastern Conference for the wild card. Like, it really adds to it. Give me kind of a sense of what to expect at the outdoor game tomorrow and how it's just going to look.
Well, first of all, for the players, nothing is familiar, right? Not one team. There's no. It's where they're getting dressed. The Blue Jackets players. The game puck drop is 6:30. They arrive on campus on a bus from the arena, Nationwide Arena, at 2:15. The Ohio State Buckeyes have a skull session before every game where the infamous Ohio State band is there doing their thing. It's like a pep rally, right? So this is going to take place in an arena, St. John Arena. It's probably 300 yards, maybe a little less, to the stadium front doors, the Horseshoe, which holds 105,000 people. So the players got to be there at 2:15. They're going to have OAR, the band's going to be playing. They're going to do a full skull session. Then they're going to march over behind the band to the arena. Kind of a historic moment. And then, they're in the locker room of the Ohio State Buckeyes home locker room, which isn't glamorous, by the way. Their glamorous arena or facility is over at the practice facility because they're only over at the stadium 8 days a year, right? Only 8 home games. So, and then outside the arena, there's going to be tailgates starting all day, festivities with the NHL, and then there's going to be 90,000+ people in that stadium, which holds 105. I heard a few have been knocked out because of sight lines, but maybe they'll get up around 100,000 people. And it's an incredible setup. It's just an incredible setup. The arena, I've been there for football games, and you spend a lot of time just marveling at the energy in the building. It's going to be 30 degrees, which is right around zero, I guess.
Okay.
Right around zero, a little windy. Maybe down in the 20s, which is, -4 or 5 after puck drop. But it's going to be a fascinating scene. I hope you guys capture some of it on TV because this is a real sports city. This sports city takes a lot of pride. They only expect winning. If the Buckeyes lose once a year, it's like tragedy. It's like death. It's terrible. But they expect winning, and they get behind their sports teams, and they're all in on this rivalry because Michigan and Ohio State is one of the biggest rivals in sports, and the Michigan fans will be there in waves, and the Blue Jackets fans are ready to take them over.
Well, now, they expect to win. What about like this year in Columbus? I think when the Goudreau news came down, there was a lot of people thinking, oh, geez, it's going to be a tough year for the Blue Jackets. So, this has been such a massive surprise, Jody. Don Waddell came out even before the Four Nations and said, you know what? I owe it to my team to make even a small addition to his group. What do you think he's looking to add to his group?
You know what? I think he's looking for a top 6. And right, who isn't? Who isn't right now in the National Hockey League looking for playoffs? If there's a name out there, Don Waddell is involved. That's what I'm getting to learn from him. I mean, there's a lot of talk of Rantanen. I don't want to start rumors, but if he ends up here next week, I won't be surprised. They're going to get Monahan back from injury. They just got Jenner. It sounds like Sillinger's out. He just got hurt last night. Goodbranson's coming back. They've got some depth on D with Jack Johnson out and Jordan Harris. So I think they need 2 pieces up front, and you can never have enough D. I think a depth forward like a Lawton. I hear his name. I love Scotty Lawton. He's one of Boone Jenner's best friends. I'm hearing Gus Nyquist out of Nashville, who was here before, and guys love him. He loves it here. He's one of those penalty killer, reliable, playoff style, keep it simple, low maintenance guy. No maintenance guy. But then if you can throw Rantanen in the mix, the way the situation and the scenario sounds with his contract, who wouldn't take a guy like that? So I think that's where they're at.
Okay.
And they could be on a goalie too, Gregor. I mean, they could be on a goalie. You know what I mean? Elvis has played well, but Tarasov, I really liked his game last night, but it hasn't been enough. He hasn't played a lot. If you go with Elvis and one guy gets hurt, you're kind of wondering, but we'll see. We'll see on that.
So would they have any interest in John Gibson, or are you thinking more of a backup type?
No, Gibson would be great. I think Gibson would be a good pickup. I think Gibson as a supporter of Elvis Merzlikins. Elvis is a player that he'll give you those games. He's athletic. He can play any sport. He's good. Sometimes he's not durable. Sometimes he gets in his own way mentally. There's scenarios like that. But if he's got a guy, like I look at Jonathan Quick and the role he's played and that support and being there, but he's also won cups. I think Gibson has a laid-back attitude. He has a different style of game. I think he'd be a perfect fit here. I think it's not a mentor, but it's a guy that accepts. I think an older player that accepts a lesser role on a team, I think you've got gold in that. So if we could get Gibson to come do that, even just for a playoff push, it would be incredible.
Where'd Marchenko come from? You expect him to be this good this year?
I didn't. I thought he was going to be a perimeter. Wait for the puck to come to me. I'll finish it off from there. I need 8 or 9 feet to do it. Stay a little bit out of traffic. He's 6'3". He's probably 210 pounds. I love the way he plays. He's really surprised me. He's involved. He's got his nose over the puck. He'll get in the dirty areas. Bedard tried to grease him the other night with a reverse hit. And he's playing with a jaw protector, and he just had a broken jaw. And he spent 10 minutes of time, every shift he was against them, and every shift while he was on the bench, just so upset. And they're saying, hey, you had a broken jaw. You know what I'm dealing with here. I like he's got some bite. I like he's playing not with his A+ game. A lot of people, there's some people that think they have to be A+ or A, and they think they can't adapt their game when it is their B game to still get through and have an impact. And I feel like he's figured that out. I'm really impressed by a lot of that. He's been one of the bright spots, and it's not just the goals. It's his. Last night, I bet you he had 6 takeaways with his stick on the back check. And, that to me is like, and his teammates, it's impressive how he's bought into this system and this style.
Well, Jody, it's from afar, it's been fascinating to watch. The Blue Jackets are a team that I find myself watching their games. Zach Werenski, to me, is the leader for the Norris Trophy this year. He's had an absolutely phenomenal season.
Thank you. I love to hear it. Yeah,
they got a lot of other guys up there. But yeah, honestly, Werenski does everything. He's on the penalty kill. He's on the power play. He's 5-on-5. He is doing it all. He's playing great on a team that lost their best player, like their best forward, I should say. So it's he's had a huge season for me. And you know what? I hope they get in. I really do. I think it would be a fantastic. It's been kind of a little bit of a Cinderella story. I hope they finish it off. And I can't imagine the atmosphere tomorrow is going to be great. So enjoy it.
It's going to be incredible. I'm with you. I respect your opinion. I think you're bang on with Werenski. You're right. This is a great story. I'm bullish on this team. I've seen a lot of teams. I've been around a lot of Blue Jackets teams. I'm bullish on what they have. I think if they get in, there's not many teams in the East that they're afraid of in a 7-game series right now.
Ooh.
So we'll see.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. Awesome stuff, Jody. Good talking again, my man. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks. Enjoy that McDavid burger. That sounds delicious. If I was around, I'd come slide one in right now.
Oh, I know you would. Yeah, you'd love it. It's like the double Big Mac. Double Big Mac. You probably ate a few of them. Like in a young Jody Shelley era, how many Big Macs could you crush?
We grew up on Vancouver Island in Port Hardy. The closest McDonald's was 3 hours away.
Wow.
And it would be a treat. I'd get 2 Big Macs, a vanilla shake, and 2 fries and 6 nuggets. That was when I was about 10, 12 years old.
Hey, why not? Hey, well, then you're burning it all off right away, before you get home. So it's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks, Jody. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me on. Have a great day.
You betcha. That's Jody Shelley, a longtime analyst for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Really, really good dude. We are live. It is the Jason Gregor Show. We're live at McDavid's. Yeah, that's right. The McDonald's on Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue is now McDavid's. It's got the sign. We've got a picture up on our social medias. Of course, it's 51st Ave and Calgary Trail for those of you who want the official address. Stop in. We have a few more to give away. We're giving away some Big Mac Davids. All you have to do is come in, say hi to Declan and myself, and use the code word McDavid, and you will get yourself. You'll walk out with a free Big Mac David meal, fries, burger, and a drink. We'll come back. We got the 2-minute warning with Tater and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
It's the season for love, and you're about to fall hard for the vehicle of your dreams. Presenting the outstanding 2025 XC90 from Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, you can lease your 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $4,600. Or finance a 2025 XC60 from 1.49% and save $1,500. All while being deeply infatuated by the newly upgraded, highly attractive body and wheel design. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Mr. Rooter travels the world.
Buongiorno, Italy. Nothing beats immersing oneself in another culture. Ooh, look at that. What an intricate design. Huh, wow. What a weird way to turn on the shower. OMG, a dedicated porcelain bidet. Do I try it? Well, when in Rome. Oh my, this beats that robot toilet in Japan.
All plumbing roads lead to Mr. Rooter.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Okay, how about you give us your star winger for a bag of pucks? What if I throw in some Will Hawk beef jerky?
Yourself a trade. With Will Hawk beef jerky on their side, the Alberta teams definitely have an unfair advantage this trade deadline. Pick up some today and use it for trade leverage in your fantasy league.
No way, man. It's way too good.
Will Hawk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win trades with salad.
90 days? You're telling me I can buy a 2024 or 2025 Buick or GMC from Wolf GMC Buick and make no payments for 90 days? Whoa. And you're telling me there's more? It's the final days of GMC's employee pricing on remaining 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons? Clearly now is the time to buy a new vehicle. I'm heading to Wolf GMC Buick, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road. It's mere seconds east of the Anthony Henday.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously.
The Edmonton Oilers lost another hockey game.
The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd to get the triple play. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
Best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. A few more happy listeners on Positive Friday just stopping in, getting their free Big Mac David meals. So stop in, use the code Gregor. Come and say hi to Declan myself, you can get one. Nice. Don't speed, though. Drive safe, as we are live at McDavid's, formerly McDonald's, Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue. We'll get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate momentarily. We got a lot of text flying in at 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, I'm curious. Doug McLean said the trade with Buffalo was horrendous. What are your thoughts? He's talking about the Savoy for Ryan McLeod trade. Well, if you look at it, I'd have to hear the whole thing. Was he talking about for this year? Because I said it at the time, the trade for this season wasn't going to look great for Edmonton. Right? Ryan McLeod's NHL player right now. Right? He is. And Matt Savoy had yet to play. He played one game, 3 minutes, but let's be real. He'd yet to play in the NHL. And, he's played a few games. He's not contributing at the same level of Ryan McLeod yet. So if he meant for this year, sure. I said at the time of the trade that it's one that's going to, that's Edmonton's getting some cap space, all that stuff. And they're going to hope it helps him down the road. We'll see. It might, but it has yet to do it. So if he wants to say it's been horrendous because nothing's worked out yet, then he's not wrong in that sense, but it's probably a little too early to call it horrendous when you're saying, basically, if it's horrendous, he's saying there's no chance Matt Savoy's ever going to be an NHL player. That's the only way I think you could realistically say it's horrendous. So, and I don't really agree with that. I think Matt Savoy is going to be an NHL player. Now, how productive of an NHL player, that I can't say with any sort of certainty at all. It's a little too early to do that. Hey, guys, what about Noah Philp? Is he not the answer for the fourth line center? Why are they playing all the wingers with Kapanen from Shanked One? Well, I don't know if he's the answer. Like when Noah Philp came up here, he didn't do a whole lot. I think if you look at it, the thing they look at with Philp is they want to see, does he process the game and make the quick decisions in real time? And now he didn't play a ton. I get it. It's hard. But obviously they felt like, Kapanen and Janmark at center right now, better opportunities. But Noah Philp's not here because they wanted to give Matt Savoy a look. Right? He went down, Matt Savoy came up. So that's kind of what the change has been there. We'll see. Hey, guys, I'm very high on Bouchard, but if he doesn't regain some of last year's form and they don't find some right shot help, I'm afraid they're not going to go deep from Joey. Well, it is fair. Like, if you look at last year's playoff success for the Oilers, so you had Connor McDavid go nuclear. He had an unreal playoff. Evan Bouchard set a record. Their penalty kill was 94.3%. They were -1 through 25 games. All of those things had to happen. Like, you need a lot of really good things to happen to your team in order to win. So do I think the penalty kill going into this year's playoffs, even if the Oilers made all the way to the Stanley Cup final, do I think they'd be -1? I do not. It's virtually impossible to repeat. Do I think Evan Bouchard would set the record and have more assists than last year? I do not. Do I think McDavid's going to get 40 points? Probably not. Like, it is hard. Those are all incredibly difficult things. So they're going to have to do some other things. And right now, when I look at the Oilers team today, and I put it side by side last year's team today, I don't think they're as good. They're not far off, but I think they need to tweak in the next week. Now, keep in mind that when they do get Evander Kane back, whether it's in the regular season or the playoffs, it'll be a healthier version of the Evander Kane they had in the playoffs. There's no question. So that's an upgrade. Right now, because he scored the 24 goals in the regular season, he had goals early in the playoffs, and then obviously the injury just kept getting worse and worse, and he wasn't much of a factor because he was injured. We saw it; that was pretty obvious. So that would be an upgrade. But they got, like Victor Arvidsson. I finally noticed, like Victor Arvidsson. The one thing Oilers fans, when he got signed, many people were like, well, Arvidsson at least like he'll get in the scrums. Like he kind of plays like he's annoyed sometimes. I really hadn't seen that up until the last few games. He's getting in, he's playing with a little bit of an edge, and I think he plays better when he's more emotionally engaged. I think most players do. But he's never been physical. Like, if you look at he's not a guy who hits you a ton. And I know some people want to, and we got text coming in again. Oh, Gregor, why are you on hits? Hits don't matter. Well, you can say hits don't matter because you like him. It doesn't mean it's true. So I'll just give you the numbers, right? This is not opinion. This is just numbers. Factual. So if you look at the last 5 teams to win the Stanley Cup, Tampa Bay won it in 20 and 21. They averaged 23.8 and 23.7 hits per 60. Colorado won it in 22. They were at 21.9. Vegas, 23.1. Florida, 24.3. You know where the Oilers were the last 3 years? 22.6, 22.6, 22.3. So right there. You know what they are this year? 13.3. It's not close. I'm sorry. There's lots of other elements that you need. Speed, everything. But to me, the speed leads to your ability to finish more checks. Having a few more guys who are aggressive and are willing to look for a check rather than, fly by all the time. Guess what? Like, you can have one guy who flies by. You can't have 4 or 5. It's not going to lead to success. And the Oilers, it is obvious to me the most glaring weakness on their team. They don't have a physical presence. Like, look again last night. It's Dad, and not Evan Bouchard. It's Corey Perry who has to drop his gloves again against Greer. Now, I'm not saying they have a lot of other guys who do it, but if you're a team that's lost 4 in a row and you've been lacking in emotion and you got to rely on a 39-year-old guy to do it again. We talked about it in the first hour. They're going into Carolina. Kotkaniemi. I've never seen him fight before. He dropped the mitts and he was throwing bombs. Right now, he's not fighting a tough guy, but Dylan Cousins has fought before. It's getting outside your comfort zone. And like, when was the last time you even saw some Order guys initiate a scrum, for God's sakes? So yeah, I think they lack in emotion. I think they lack in speed. And it's something that they got to address from their general manager. They have to, right? If they don't, I don't think they can repeat and win the Western Conference in the playoffs. I just don't think they can. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam was born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. His disability never allowed him to be on the radio until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
The Edmonton Oilers lost another hockey game last night. In other news, a soccer tournament is taking place Saturday afternoon. Whitfield. And I'm taking a page out of Gregor's playbook about giving and using our platform whenever we can to help. And it is, I apologize, if it is self-serving. Sorry, okay, let's proceed. Mia Gunter was an accomplished soccer player, and she wanted to help kids with intellectual disabilities play soccer, the sport she loved. So Mia became a coach for Special Olympics soccer players. Mia passed away almost 2 years ago, but her friends, many of from the soccer community, has put together an annual soccer tournament in Mia's memory and raised some money for Special Olympics. Now, the Gunters are very dear friends. Very dear. So the Tate family are giving 4 items for the Keep It Very Quiet silent auction, and I'm inviting you to bid on them. They are all related to sports. The first one, you will be my guest at an Edmonton Oilers game. In the press box, dinner in the media room, we can count how many servings Gregor and Spectre of ice cream go for. Then, up to the press box and the coach's press conference after the game. This is for one person, and we're giving you the same experience at an Edmonton Elks game in the press box. Brian Hall, he likes ice cream. You'll also be in the Commonwealth Stadium presses box. We're also giving you the same experience at an Edmonton Riverhawks game. The fourth one, a copy of my best-selling book, Zero, written by the legendary Jim Taylor, and one of my brand new speaking presentations telling my life as a hockey game. I didn't breathe for 17 minutes when I was born, so I began my life with 2 for tripping, 5 for fighting, and a 10-minute misconduct. I will put a link on my Twitter. At Cam Tate and Maya, I really miss you. 2-minute warning with Tater. Monday, Friday, Sports 1440.
Well, there you go. Check out Tater's website if you want to help out. That's fantastic. Love it. Lots more text flying in at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Coming up next hour, Craig Button is going to join us. So we're going to get Butts fired up. I haven't got Butts fired up. I like to crank it up with him sometimes, so we'll do that on a positive Friday. It's always good. Goodbye. He's never short of opinion, which is great. That's why I like to have him on. But he jokes sometimes. You know how to get me rolling. So we'll get him rolling because there's a few things to discuss. Oiler fans, you're fired up. I know it's positive Friday. And guess what? A new hour means I have more gifts to give away here at McDavid's. Like I said, 10 more of them this hour. If you want to get yourself, maybe you're just getting off work, you're on your way home, you want to stop in and you can get the Big McDavid meal right here at McDavid's, formerly McDonald's, on Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue. So stop in. There you go. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in right now for the end of winter tire sale is going on right now. We're going to get to 20% off all in-stock tires, all the brands, all the savings, great service, fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The late night in the NHL, only 3 games on the schedule. At 5, you got the Rangers and Leafs. At 6, Kings and Dallas. Then at 7 o'clock, the Avalanche hosting the Minnesota Wild. The Oilers back in action. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. In the association, you got the Toronto Raptors in Chicago to take on the Bulls. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. Elsewhere, Celtics hosting the Red Hot Cavaliers. You got the Thunder in Atlanta. Pistons host the Nuggets. Trailblazers in Brooklyn, Suns and Pelicans. Timberwolves take on the Jazz, and the Clippers and Lakers meeting at Crypto.com Arena. WHL, the Oil Kings on the road in PA, taking on the Raiders. That gets going at 6 o'clock. In the AJ, Spruce Grove Saints on the road. They're out in Penticton taking on the V's. That gets going at 8. In town, the Crusaders taking on Black Falls at Truro Park Arena. That'll get going at 7. And in the AJ 4 game tonight, GP hosts Whitecourt, Olds and Lloyd. Drayton Valley meets Canmore, and Fort Mac up against Devon. Can West playoffs, Pandas hockey in action down to the Drake this weekend, hosting Mount Royal in their best of 3 semifinal series tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. Every game gets going at 7 o'clock. And the Golden Bears on the road, taking on Mount Royal tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday as well at the Flames Community Arena. It was a great night for volleyball at the University of Alberta down at the Saville Center, as the Bears and Panda squads both won their first matchup in straight sets. They'll do it again tonight with a chance to wrap up their series. Pandas host Winnipeg at 6. Then at 8, it's the Golden Bears taking on the U of C Dinos. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Hey, did you know you can get a free drink today?
Nice. I love free drinks.
Yeah, Booster Juice called your name today on the Booster Rewards app, so you get a free smoothie, booster mixer, or fresh juice.
Well then, why are we still sitting here just talking about it?
Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. 2 names every day, all February long. Must be a Booster Rewards app member. For complete details, visit boosterjuice.com.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Start your adventure with a 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander at Cross Mitsubishi. Lease it for $299 a month with $49.99 due at signing. Enjoy 0% financing, a $1,000 trade rebate, and a $500 loyalty rebate. Equipped with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Offer ends February 28th. Visit Cross Mitsubishi at 9605 34th Avenue or online at crossmitsubishi.ca. Cross Mitsubishi, drive your ambition.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
403. Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Are you feeling lucky? You know what's Positive Friday? The weather's beautiful right now. 15 mil up for grabs tonight. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And then the calendar turns to March starting tomorrow. And guess what? It's a new month. Well, don't worry. That means a new opportunity for you to use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a new one in March. I know many of you used it in February. Hopefully you'll have the same luck or better in March. Check it out at playalberta.ca. As we continue on Positive Friday, you know what? It's always good, just a simple gesture that gives people a smile on their face. Loyal Sports 1440 fans, some of you watching on Oilers Nation YouTube have stopped in here to McDavid's, of course, formerly McDonald's, on Calgary Trail and 51st Ave, because if you stop in, come up, see Declan and myself, and mention our code word, McDavid, and we will get you a free Big McDavid meal. Got to get here, though, before 6, so we're giving away 10 more of those this hour. So actually get here before 5, but you'll have time, don't worry. So away you go. Stop in, come say hi. Declan's taking a lot of photos, kissing a lot of babies, so it's a great time for him. It's a great time. Connor's very jealous back at Sports 1440 headquarters. We got loads and loads. I love it. I love the texts that are flying in today, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, these people who say hits don't matter, it's still a contact sport, and contact and intimidation really matter. There's too many guys that have family skates on the Oilers. Every relevant and competitive playoff team has had a healthy dose of guys who want to hit and be hit and embrace the physical aspect of the game. The team is soft and weak, and Perry can't be the only man to show up. Just my thoughts, but I hope we acquire some men before the deadline. Dave at Whitetail. Dave is fired up for sure. Hey, guys, if Kane's being difficult to deal with, Boston might really enjoy him and get a young Trent Frederick. Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's any proof that Kane is being difficult to deal with. I necessarily haven't heard that. You know, they're going to say they don't have a set timeline on when he returns. Okay, sure. Does Kane, like, if Kane wants to come back before the end of the regular season, like, I don't know if you can really rip on a guy for being competitive enough to do it. But at the same time, if it's like, well, I want to come back on April 4th, when everybody knows if you wait till April 10th, it makes a significant bonus and benefit to your entire team, well, then that would just be the most selfish thing you could think of. So I guess it all depends on exactly what is what's being discussed. Greg's couldn't agree with you more. The Oilers are getting pushed around physically, and they lack the pushback. It feels like the other teams are game planning to play against them now. Well, keep in mind, Florida last night, Florida does lead the NHL in hits. So please don't tell me that hits only mean you don't have the puck. Because unless you're saying that Florida doesn't have the puck, that's why they lead the NHL in hits. No, that's part of that's the team they built. They want it to be an aggressive team, right? Remember Paul Maurice in the playoffs? And I think one of our texters, I got to find it. We had the quote because we were talking about it during the break, but essentially, you know, it said something, forget making plays, hammer their diesel, then gain 7, they've got nothing left, right? It was basically what he said. On the bench to his players. So I think people who think hitting doesn't matter really illustrate they don't understand the whole concept of the game. This whole adage, I think because Dallas Aikens once said, the perfect game would be no hits. Like, it was and people actually took that as like the truth. No, it isn't. Right? Because first of all, no one can have the puck all the time. It's impossible. The best possession teams are guys who are like, if you have a 55, shot share, and oh God, that's great. Right? Think about that. 55%. No one's at 65 or 70, for goodness sake. So of course the other team's going to have the puck. And sometimes, you know what? You can separate the guy from the puck, hit him, take the puck. It's a smart play. Like, what are we talking about here? It's absolutely asinine to me that some people are suggesting it doesn't matter. But here, I just compare the Oilers to the Oilers. Take out anybody else. The last 3 seasons, the Oilers hits per 60, 22.6, 22.6, 22.3. That's pretty consistent for 3 years. This year, they're 13.3. It's a 40% drop, people. Okay? They're not quick enough. They're not physical enough. They're not engaged enough. Now, I get that they got too many giveaways sometimes. You want your goaltender to make a save. I think we beat that into the ground. Like, come up with something. No, goalie's got to make a save. Because every goal now that's, goalie's got to stop it. Like, those people have come to the point now where every goal is the goalie's fault. Like, it's painful, okay? Not every goal is the goalie's fault, okay? Not everyone. Sometimes the other team actually makes a good play. Right? Was Leon Draisaitl's goal a bad goal by Bobrovsky last night? I don't think so. It's just a hell of a play. Sometimes the other team makes a good play. It's going to happen every now and then. But, yes, you don't want some of the goals that have gone in lately to go in. Fair. But they've also made some egregious plays in front that led to those goals that shouldn't have happened. So the Oilers got to play sound defensively. And to me, that comes from an energy factor. Like, look at the everybody doesn't like not everybody. Some people don't like the Schmidt goal. Wow, Stuart Skinner's got to make the save. Okay, Stuart Skinner's got to make a save. Sure. Is that the only play? How about the fact that Florida comes in the zone on a 1-on-2 and both Klingberg and Bouchard end up on the left side, and Bouchard puts himself into the corner, doesn't touch anybody, and now the middle of the ice is wide open. What are we talking about? Which is a more egregious play, right? Klingberg, be aggressive. Go at the guy. You got 2 guys there. So we can go through a lot of plays here, but the Edmonton Oilers, Stan Bowman and their management team has to recognize that this team does not have enough guys where the pilot light burns bright often enough. They just don't. Okay? I'm not talking about their star. I'm not talking about Bouchard. Okay? I know Evan Bouchard's struggling. I also know that Evan Bouchard is the most pure, talented defenseman they have. He is. He can play better. Now, he's got to play better. I don't know when he's going to play better, but he's capable of playing better. The Oilers, the guys who aren't fast aren't capable of getting faster. Connor Brown is never going to hit. Okay? He never has. He never will. And that's fine, but you can't have 5 or 6 of your forwards who don't do it. That's the problem. So they need to address that. And they can't be held hostage and make the claim that, well, because Evander Kane might come back, we can't make any moves. Because I outlined it earlier. Did you know that the Edmonton Oilers, 21, 22, 23, they were in LTIR every time going up to the trade deadline? And every year, Ken Holland managed to make some trades. Some years he added like huge trades like Matthias Ekholm, for goodness sakes. I'm not talking about just adding a fourth line. He got Matthias Ekholm and Bukestad that year. Now, you had to move out Puljujarvi in a separate deal. You moved out Barry. You moved out Kesselring. You got to move some guys out. But he made it happen, and he had no cap space. Right? What about the year he got Brett Kulak? He had no cap space. He got Kulak and Brassard. They got Montreal, those teams to retain some salary. You threw in William Lagesson. They actually gained cap space in that one, funny enough. So you just can't tell me that it isn't possible. Is it difficult? 100%. But that's why you're the GM. If it was easy, anybody would be the GM. There's only 32 of them in the NHL. And you got to get out there and you got to do it. Hey, guys, a lot of the Oilers are fathers. When Cassian had a child, he toned it back quite a bit. He also hit his head on the ice during a fight, so it didn't help. From Bonnecourt Greg. I don't think I can disagree more with that. So it's Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Evan Bouchard. Like, Evan Bouchard's not a dad. Evan Bouchard wasn't an overly physical presence before. I don't think Evan Bouchard not being a father changes anything. Right? Stuart Skinner was a father before the season. Doesn't change. Right? Nugent Hopkins was a father before the season. I think dads are super important. Let's not try to suggest that if you're a father, that suddenly you tone it back in the games. Come on. I'm sorry. I don't buy that for one iota of a second. Right? It's like you're trying to pass blame to the kids somehow that, now that they're around, their father isn't going to try as hard. Like, what? Most dads work harder for their kids when they become a father. You got way more responsibility. I don't know any dad who's like, oh, gee, you know what? I got a kid, and now I feel like I can slack off and I'm not as intense anymore. Right? Sure, you become a little bit more emotional. That's awesome. It doesn't mean that that's not the reason why they're slower as a team, my man. Like, come on. I'm sorry. Can't buy it. Can't buy it at all. So McGregor, John Cooper said the reason Canada was successful that everybody bought into was willing to check. JP, well, yeah, you're willing to check. But hey, that game, it was emotional. But who was a guy who didn't play a huge amount of minutes? What about in the final? Who was their best player? It was Sam Bennett. And now? Sam Bennett has a lot of skill. We saw the goal. But Sam Bennett was a wrecking ball. Right? And then that line was physical, and it spreads across. Like, do the Oilers have one? Because we know McDavid and Draisaitl's line. You put them on the ice, they're going to intimidate the opposition. They don't have to intimidate you physically, but Leon Draisaitl can, and so can McDavid. McDavid will hit. Hits more than most. Like last year, he was third on the Oilers in hits. I bet you if I look now, he'd probably be third again, maybe second. So I have no worries about him. Do the Oilers have a line that can remotely switch the momentum of the game through energy? They do not. I'm not even sure they have a player. Like Corey Perry does it, but God love him. He's 39, right? Not fleet of foot. He just, he hacks guys, whacks guys, drop the mitts, chirps at them. Great. He's in the game. But they got way too many guys who, it's the old adage that if you put an egg in their pocket, how many of them would break at the end of the game? Right? How many Oilers are playing, to use Todd McClellan's line, inside guys? And the numbers don't lie. Okay. Then when you go from 3 consecutive years to 22 hits a game to 13, we're talking a significant drop. That's 40% drop. So what's changed? Well, guess what's changed? They're not as physical because they're not as fast. And they don't have enough guys. Like, being physical is a mindset. Right? And it's a skill. I actually believe it's a skill. Not everybody can consistently hit, not get tired, not put themselves out of position and have to run to go hit. They know when to do it. It's a skill. And the Oilers right now don't have enough of it. They just don't. Take a quick break. When we come back, Craig Button will join us. We have more of you lucky listeners as you're stopping in on your way home. It's Positive Friday. You're getting off work. Be sure to stop in and come up to our table. Say the word McDavid. Not loud, very quietly. It's a secret. And you'll get a Big Mac David meal. As we are live at McDavid's, formerly McDonald's, Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. participating McDonald's in Canada.
Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at hughescarwash.com. Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertips. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Don't settle for being on the rate of last resort if you don't have to be. Check your most recent electricity bill. If it says the words rate of last resort on it, then there are likely better options available for you. In fact, you could save hundreds of dollars per year by switching plans. Check your bill, then go to ucahelps.ca to explore your options. You will likely find a better rate and could have hundreds more in your pocket by the end of the year. A message from the Government of Alberta.
New Edge Construction wants you. We're hiring for several positions. Join a leading civil construction group in the Edmonton region. A strong team, competitive wages, retention bonuses, and current model equipment are what awaits you at New Edge. Go to newedgeconstruction.com. That's NUEDGE construction.com.
Join a leading civil construction group in the Edmonton region. Start your career now. Go to newedgeconstruction.com.
Feel the thrill of the 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse at Cross Mitsubishi. Lease for $239 a month with $49.99 due at signing. Enjoy 0% financing, a $1,000 trade rebate, and a $500 loyalty rebate. Equipped with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Offer ends February 28th. See Cross Mitsubishi, 9605 34th Avenue, or visit crossmitsubishi.ca. Cross Mitsubishi. Drive your ambition.
Snow removal contractors and community leagues. The tools you need are available at the prices you want. Now at the Lawnmower Hospital. Save up to $1,300 and get a free Echo backpack blower. All of BCS's industry-leading belt-free snow sweepers are on sale. And you'll get the powerful Echo PB9010 backpack blower free with select models. Find out more at thelawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
When you wash, get the Works. The Works Car and Truck Wash is now open in Wetaskiwin. With 8 self-serve bays, you'll never have to wait in line. This isn't your typical gas station car wash. Choose from soft touch or touchless automatic washes. Plus, big trucks are welcome in the oversized highway truck bay. Use code SPORTS1440 when you purchase a wash card, and you'll receive a 15% bonus. Cannot be combined with other offers or promotions. When you wash, get the Works. Visit theworkswash.ca or follow them on Instagram and Facebook.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on. Hope you're having a great day. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. As we roll in, stop in, say hi to Declan Kruger, and he will get you your brand new Big Mac David, which is the double Big Mac. And we are live at McDavid's on Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue. So celebrating the new McDavids. Today they got the big sign up. Looks great. Now let's get to the oil report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Of course, 13-time award winner, excellence in sales and service. Stop in at volvocarsedmonton.com and you'll get a great deal. As we welcome in NHL general manager, Stanley Cup winner, of course, ace analyst for TSN and scout Craig Button joins the spots. How you doing?
I am great, Jason. So what's this McDavid's hamburger joint? Is this what that is?
Yeah, well, McDonald's, this location is now McDavid's. They changed the name.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. I wanted to make sure that. I thought that was the case, but I just wanted to make sure of it. Cool.
Mm-hmm. They did it here, and they also did it in his hometown in Ontario as well. So it stems back to kind of like a deal. I guess it's something to be talked about when. So it's kind of in honor of them winning the Four Nations and stuff like that. So just having a little fun with it. So it is McDavid's, and there's 97-cent fries all weekend at all the locations in Edmonton area and around. So obviously in his hometown, and then we're giving away some Big Mac Davids today, which is the double Big Mac, Craig. They're pretty delicious, but you definitely have to. You got to come hungry because they're pretty filling.
I would say, yeah, come hungry and don't eat for the previous 16 hours.
Now, I got lots to discuss, Craig. So I've been now my what I'm going to say has nothing to do with the 5-game losing streak, because I think this issue was here well before the 5-game losing streak. I don't believe the Oilers have enough energy. They don't have enough physicality. And then I never actually looked up the numbers until today, but the last 3 years at 5-on-5, the Oilers hits per 60 were 22.6, 22.6, and 22.3. Pretty consistent 3 years in a row. I looked at all the teams who won cups, and they all were between 22 and 24. The Oilers are at 13.3 this year, Craig. I don't think they got enough gumption on this team. And if Stan Bowman doesn't address this, they ain't going anywhere. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm going to use my phrase that I use often when it comes to playoff hockey. It's who can go the hardest, the longest. It's a grind. There's not a lot of space out there. So how are you going to hold your space? How are you going to gain space? How are you going to make your opponent uncomfortable? How are you going to withstand the challenges from your opponent? So all those things, and Jason, it's not changing. Like, there's different elements of the game that evolve and develop, and other things that move away. But those fundamental, it's like football. If you can't win at the line of scrimmage offensively, I don't care how good your quarterback is, you're not winning. I don't care how good your quarterback is, you're not winning. And so it's the same thing here. And I think the Oilers are light. And I think the other thing is that bottom group of forwards, like where's the edge? Where's the edge? Where's the speed? Like what is what I'd like to call, like, where's the antagonist? And when I say it doesn't have to be one person, but you want something that can antagonize. Edmonton, at the beginning of the year, I picked Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup on this basis. I mean, I know how great McDavid and Drai and I know how, and they got to say, and they played well. Don't get me wrong, but a big part of my prediction was that I thought that the moves that were going to be necessary to get this team into a stronger spot were necessary. And I guess we have until next Friday to wait and see. If they don't finish in first place and they end up playing Vegas or LA, I think they're out in the first round. Like, with this team, if they don't improve this team. And Jason, the Edmonton Oilers had an awful summer of 2024. Signing Arvidsson and Skinner, losing McLeod and Fogle, and then losing Broberg and Holloway. That's an awful summer.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's shaped up that way for sure. I thought Skinner would be a better fit. I didn't know he looks way slower in person. And to me, he's not that quick. He holds on to the puck too long, doesn't work. Arvidsson, I don't know what's happened. He falls down way too often. I don't get it. Now he's got a little bit unlucky, rung one off the bar again last night. At least the last few games, he's finally shown me he plays normally with a little bit of bite in his game, and it was like he was toothless for the first 45 games, and he's starting to show a little bit of bite. So maybe that comes at the right time. But they got to get bigger and they got to get faster. And like Stan Bowman, I don't buy the argument for a second, Craig, that just because Evander Kane, you're not sure on his timeline. Does that impact how big of a swing you can make? Fair. It doesn't mean you can't make any swings, because Ken Holland for 3 years in a row had he was in LTIR and he still made significant moves. You just got to be creative as a GM.
Yeah. Well, I think that, the money, like with Evander Kane, let me rewind on Evander. Evander, like what he brings is important. Fast, heavy, hard, can score, right? Like, okay, so we got that, right? So when we talk about, so they have to know what the medical report is, and they have to know what the timeline is. And it may come simply down to this, is that, okay, either Evander Kane comes back into the lineup, right? And before the regular season, which means your LTIR money, it can't be used to any great extent with Evander Kane, or he's not. What are you waiting for? The trade deadline's in less than a week. What are you waiting for? You know the medical report. Like what are they doing? Flying somebody from outer space to come in and evaluate what the medical report? Everybody knows what the medical report is on Evander Kane. Sorry, not an excuse. No rationale for that.
Totally with you. Evan Bouchard is a good player who's not playing well right now, Craig. And I'd said it in the summertime why I wouldn't rush to sign him, because you were signing him at the peak. He just had an unreal year. He set a record in the playoffs. It was amazing. I said, and if he repeats it, well, then good, because now he's done it 2 years in a row, and you're much more confident in a big deal. So he hasn't done it again. Now he might rebound and have a good playoffs. There's still months before that happens. But when you look at Bouchard's play, and a lot of it, he's either turnovers with the puck, he's not as engaged as you would like to be. How can you help? How do they help him through it here? How do you balance the tough love of benching to the pat on the back love? What do you think they got to do here to Bouchard? And what do you think Bouchard has to do to try to find his game?
Yeah, I think it's more, and we've seen Evan play really well. And I couldn't agree with you more. Good player, not playing well. That's what's happened to Evan. And he had a fantastic year last year. I think it's twofold. The first place I'm going is with Evan. Evan, these are the strengths of your game. And when you're doing these things, this is when not only are you at your best, but our team now benefits from you being at your best. And these are the things you're not doing. And these are the things that are hurting us. And so you got to go through it with them, step by step. And then the second part of it is and go, so we know you can be better, and you know you can be better. So be better. That's as simple as I'd be doing it with them. You're not dealing with a young player where you're hoping, okay, listen, we'll try and guide him. Be better, Evans. Because how he's playing right now, not good enough.
Yeah. If you look at the Oilers, they got to make some moves, obviously. I think there's a lot of teams, and, we're a week away, Craig. We had it in late January and early Feb. There was the two big Friday moves of Rantanen and then the JT Miller. Those are pretty big deals, but that's it. I don't know if teams are waiting for the last minute. You've been in that chair as a GM, and the conversations, does it start to ramp up today now? And maybe some of the trades don't actually get done until next Thursday or Wednesday or Friday, whatever it is. But how often on average, is it a multiple phone call conversation before trade deadline deals happen?
Well, yes, it is. To answer your question, yes, Jason, it is multiple calls. But there's way more buyers than sellers right now. That's the challenge. So everybody's monitoring. I mean, you look at the cut line. So teams that are clear buyers that are in the playoffs and whatnot, and then you're looking and going, okay, are you in or you out? Are you phoning this team? Or, okay, would you do this if you feel you're not going to be in the playoffs? Yeah, we will, but we're going to wait, right? Other teams are looking, and teams that are on the cut line are going, well, you know what? We're not here to sell. We're trying to buy too. So they're having those conversations. So you're in these multiple conversations with multiple teams multiple times, and you got to wait. And I think the hardest thing is when you have way more buyers than sellers, is that you're in this waiting mode. I mean, look at what San Jose did. Dallas jumped out and added Granlund and Ceci. That was a real shrewd move by Jim Mill, because he got out in front of something, because he looked at two players that were going to be chased by other teams, and he paid the price. He got out in front of it, and San Jose goes, yeah, we're not going to wait. We're going to move. And I think now is until other teams start to say, we're going to sell, you're going to be in this wait and see mode. And the conversations are going to be more, and teams, and the other thing that's going to happen, Jason, don't be surprised about some pretty significant prices being paid, because when demand exceeds supply, prices go up.
Yeah. When you look at some of the names, like if you're Lou Lamoriello, and I keep hearing that they're talking and re-signing Brock Nelson, like, why would you do that? Like, you can't just bring back the same guys over and over again and expect a different result. Like, and I know Brock Nelson wants to stay there. I get it. But if I'm the Islanders, I'm like, this isn't working. Like, and you just said it there. Like, there's not a lot of Brock Nelsons out there. How many second line centers are truly available? None, I don't think, after him. Like, if I'm Lou Lamoriello, who's been around forever, I'm like, hey, man, I got to make a trade here. Brock, if you really love it, come back and sign in the summertime. But we're trading you before Friday.
This is why Brock Nelson is such a coveted player, not just because he's a second-line center and a real good, solid player and what he brings. He's got an expiring contract. So now teams are not looking at and I, Braden Shen's name is there 3 years after here. He's 33. He's going to be 34 in August, right? So you're looking at 3 years with Braden Shen at 35, 36, 37. Okay, got it, right? Or 34, 35, 36. And whereas Brock Nelson, one run with him, the price, but Lou also should look at this too and go, okay, and I know he is. I mean, Lou's shrewd. He's saying okay, who are the teams interested in Ryan O'Reilly? Who's interested? Well, I'm going to get in there because to your point, do the Islanders just want to continue just being? The Islanders have become, to me, irrelevant. They become an irrelevant team. And if you want to just stay irrelevant, just keep doing what you're doing. If you want to try to make a difference, now's the time. I think now's a really good time for him to try to look to do that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. It's shocking to me, really, when I look at the Islanders and the talk that they might bring back the band again. I'm like, dude, this band shouldn't have been they should have been taken off the travel circuit for a while. They're not close to they're close to being average is all they are. They're nothing else. What about you talk about supply and demand? There is a few teams now. The Dallas Stars got a lot of LTR space that maybe gives them more of an opportunity. And, there's quite a few other teams in that regard. When you look at, we know what Edmonton needs, but Dallas, I guess it's obvious they need a defenseman. If you're Toronto, what's your number one need in Toronto? And what is your number one need if you are the Colorado Avalanche?
I think a third line center in Toronto would be really good for them. Every team you can look at things and go, they could use this, they could use that. I think a third line center takes some of the pressure off of John Tavares. They've tried to put a lot of different players in that third line spot, Max Domi and everything. They need a third line center. That's what I think they need in there. And I think that should be where the focus is. I think the blue line, I think Brad Treliving in the offseason did some really good work on the blue line. He extended Jake McCabe. So I'm not worried. For me, I don't think he should be worried about that area. Third line center is really important. Colorado Avalanche, they need a second line center because Casey Middlestat ain't that second line center. Casey Middlestat's going to get eaten up alive when the playoffs begin. And if you want to get eaten up alive, just keep him right there. And that's I know what he was trying to do last year when he traded for Casey. Casey's not a hard, heavy player. He's a light player, and you're not winning with a light second line player in that group. And they have to hope that Josh Manson and their blue line is in a good state of health. That's the hope. Their need is a second line center.
Yeah, it's a big need. If you're the Buffalo Sabres, Greg, and we've heard some names there, that's a team, it's 14 years coming up without the playoffs. They got some young players, sure. But this is you have a GM, and I think the biggest mistake they made in Buffalo is they hired a GM that didn't have a lot of experience, and they didn't surround him with a veteran, some other guys with experience. Because if you could be young in it, and that's fine, and you can be very smart, but if you have somebody with experience, it's going to help you. They got none of it, And now I'm hearing like they might trade this guy. Like, what are they doing? If I'm the owner, I'm like, I'm not trading anybody. We're just going to go in and we're going to get a veteran management team because you'll just dig yourself deeper hole if you're going to let your inexperienced team make the significant rumblings. Like if any of those significant rumors come true, I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they set Kevin Adams up for success. And you come in, you don't have the experience. I like Kevin, but they also purged their experience out of that organization. It wasn't just that they brought Kevin in. Like, what did they do? They exiled like 25 people. Like really? So you're bringing in a thoroughly inexperienced guy to come in, and then you're getting rid of all these other people. Like, sorry, feels like Donald Trump was running the team, and bringing in people that just have like no experience, no idea. And you sit down and you start to think about the Buffalo Sabres. And to me, we talked about, can they make trades? Can they, until Terry and Kim Pegula understand what they have to do to reinforce the front office, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change there. So that should be their main focus. I'm in agreement with you, but Jason, if I'm somebody on the other side of Buffalo, I'm a team, I'm phoning and I'm trying to get any number of players there, whether it be Tuck or Thompson or Power or Byram or any Cousins. I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. Let's have a discussion. And I'm phoning all the time, trying to find a player and trying to take advantage of their inexperience.
Greg Button from TSN joined us. Craig, it's an exciting time for media and fans. I don't know if it's an exciting time for the managers. Maybe it is because, hey, I can improve my team. And if you're a team that's out of it, you're like, hey, maybe I can improve my team for the future. What the San Jose Sharks can't retain any salary. Now, they already did make a, trade. They got CeCe and Granlund gone, but, that might limit them a little bit. If you're the Chicago Blackhawks and Seth Jones has come out, like Seth Jones never signed up for this. I get why he's frustrated. When he signed, that team was trying to build, and literally within a year, they went scorched earth. So he hasn't said anything. I'm not surprised. He's come out vocally here and said, hey, I want to trade. And then he ripped his team and said nothing's improved, which was truthful. Nothing he said was a lie by any stretch. But if you're the Blackhawks and you're looking to move him, what are you looking for?
Oh, I don't think there's any question the Blackhawks would retain salary on Seth Jones. I think that I think if you want Seth Jones, remember there's 5 years on his contract after this one, and if you're a team and you want Seth Jones, you are saying to the Chicago Blackhawks, I'm on the other side, and I think Seth is a solid player. I mean, again, it goes back to what you said: good player not playing well with respect to Evan Bouchard. Well, Seth Jones is a good player. He's just got a contract that just doesn't reflect what his contributions are right now. So if I'm a team on the outside and I go, gee, Seth Jones can help us, I'd like to have Seth Jones, I'm going straight to Chicago Blackhawks and said, listen, we want Seth Jones, and we'll help with that. But what are you going to give us? What are you going to give us? Retain salary? Are you going to give us a prospect? Are you going to give us because the Chicago Blackhawks want out of Seth Jones too. Not just the contract. They want out of Seth Jones because, internally now you have a player that's just basically told them, hey, listen, this is a joke. I don't want to be here. And it's not getting better. So now, I don't know if there's teams interested in Seth Jones. I'm just saying if you are a team and you feel it, then you go to Chicago and you go to Kyle Davidson and say, listen, we'll take him, but here's what's going to have to happen. And it's not just one scenario. There might be multiple scenarios along that line. And you go from there and you take it. Because again, I'm going to mention again, I think Seth Jones can help a team. I think Seth Jones can help a number of teams.
What about Bowen Byram? Like, I love Bowen Byram. Now, I haven't watched him as much this year, Craig, but what do you think? Like, is Bowen Byram, is he a second pair defenseman in your eyes? Is he an elite third pair? Where do you see him? Is he a low end first pair?
Yeah, you know what? I delineate between top three and then bottom three. Okay. I think if you can be like, we got top pair defensemen, I think that's pretty clear. And then you go to that next. So like you look at a player like Bowen, I think he can clearly be at the very worst of three, which means you're a good player on that second pair. And I think that he's in a situation where, you got Darlene there, so he's going to get a lot of the offensive play. Owen Power gets a little bit more. So I think Bowen is being asked to do some different things that are outside of some of his strongest assets, which is driving offensive play. Hey, listen, I love Bowen Byram. I would be all over trying to get Bowen Byram on my team and trying to find a way to get him at this young age into a spot where he becomes part of my team all the time in the world, because he's a competitor and he's a damn good player.
Oh, well, yeah, he's got a little spice to his personality.
Yes,
right?
he does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that, Jason?
Nothing. No, hey,
I know. You and me are the same.
It's the old adage, Craig. I'd much rather tame a stallion than whip a donkey, and that's when it comes to emotion. You want guys. Hey, I need to calm down a little bit, rather than, can you please show some emotion? Can you please get engaged? Like, the latter is. It's really hard to get somebody to do that. It's a little easier to get a guy to control his emotions more often than it is to try to have someone create, a nasty side to them. That's really difficult to do. Some guys have it, and that's why, Sam Bennett, players like that, like, there's a lot of value. It's not just not everybody's going to score. Of course, scoring matters and you like it, but if you got guys who can chip in a little bit, but then they can change the game with a monster hit that suddenly, or they sit on the bench and they chirp the hell out of the other team, and suddenly some of your quiet guys are like, well, now I'm in the game because I feel like this guy's disrespecting you, so I'm going to get fired up, right? Like, those guys are valuable. And God love Corey Perry, Craig. I love everything that he's doing at his age. He's fighting Greer. He's fighting all these other guys. But I'm like, my God, he's 39, and the Oilers got no one else doing it amongst their forward group. It's embarrassing to me.
Not helping him, right? Like, there's no help there for Corey. He's an island unto himself. We drafted Todd Harvey, and I know he played in Edmonton, and we drafted Todd Harvey in Dallas. And I mean, he's that type of player. But I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it with him. And it was the World Junior in 1994, and the game starts, and they have to beat Sweden in regulation. If it's a tie or Sweden wins the gold medal. It was a different format. First shift of the game, I'm sitting right across from the Swedish bench and the Canadian bench. Todd Harvey comes, runs. Kenny Jonsson sees him at the last second and literally just has to submarine himself. I'm looking at the Swedish bench, and their heads just went, ugh, this is going to be one hard night. Now, it ended up being a 5-4 win for Canada. That's the type of player that you want to have on your team. Sam Bennett, Todd Harvey, Corey Perry. I remember Steve Downey in 2006. Took a penalty in the first shift of the game versus Russia in the gold medal game.
Yeah.
And then Brent Sutter said, we'll kill that penalty 100 times out of 100. That's what you're talking about. And again, like, the Bo has that ability. He's a different type of player. I know we had Eddie Belfour. Eddie Belfour was fiery, but you're looking and going, hey, Eddie just tempered a little bit. And when he tempered it, he ended up winning, which is what he ultimately, it didn't stop. I mean, he was a hell of a player. And you're right. Give me the stallion. Give me the wild stallion. We'll tame him.
Craig, always great to catch up with you, man. I love it. Have yourself an awesome weekend, and we will chat with you next Friday.
We will. Look forward to it.
You betcha. That's Craig Button from TS. And Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Cougar with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are live at Mick David's, formerly McDonald's, Calgary Trail, and it'll go back to McDonald's, but it's they're doing this for a while. Call McDavid's. They got the big sign up on the building. Everybody knows the golden arches and the red right on the roadway, and so they're doing that. 97-cent fries all weekend in the Edmonton area. McDonald's. If you can't come here today, no problem. But if you can make it here before 6 o'clock, you should, because if you stop in, use the code word McDavid, and we'll get you a free Big Mac David meal, courtesy of Sports 1440 and McDonald's. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, did you know you can get a free drink today?
Nice. I love free drinks.
Yeah, Booster Juice called your name today on the Booster Rewards app, so you get a free smoothie, booster mixer, or fresh juice.
Well then, why are we still sitting here just talking about it?
Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. 2 names every day, all February long. Must be a Booster Rewards app member. For complete details, visit boosterjuice.com.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Your courtside seat awaits on Sports 1440. I'm Paul Sir, and I host the basketball show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Don't miss it. I'll catch you this weekend.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
From the casinos of Vegas to the bingo halls of Leduc, everybody wants a piece of Lady Luck. And what thanks do I get? It's like I don't even exist.
There's no such thing as luck. If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Join us for the Canadian premiere of Yuki, the untold story of hockey legends on March 10th at Fort Hall, Rogers Place, Edmonton. Hosted by Kelly Rudy, this event features a gripping documentary celebrating over 50 NHL champions of Ukrainian-Canadian descent. Enjoy a Ukrainian-style meal and a Q&A session with Kelly and the director, Vladimir Mula. Tickets are limited, $50 for rush seating and $150 for VIP. Secure your spot now at ukrfolk.ca and be a part of this unforgettable evening.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
449, Jason Gregor. Deck the curve. Big Northside Norm just came in. Not a boy, Normie. Nice. Well, the best part was his wife recognized us before Norm did. That's when you know you're making an impact. I like it. Love it. We are at McDavid's. For those of you who are, many of you are getting off work now. You're excited. You know what? The weather is beautiful. Everything's melting. It's nice out. Now, I know if you're an Oiler fan, you're probably not in a good mood because the team has lost 5 in a row. They're still going to make the playoffs. They're not awful, but they're playing poorly right now. I think it's fair. Oilers, decent team. They've got some areas to improve on. People like, Gregor, their record's the same as last year. Yeah, they won 16 games in a row last year at one point, right? They actually won 24 out of 27. You were never repeating that. Do I think this team, go player for player and tell me you think honestly that this team today is better than the team last year? Honestly, does anyone actually believe that? That the group today, you go head-to-head to the group last year and you think this team's better? How? Where? Because I don't see it. They're not better on defense. Overall, they're not better up front. I don't see how they're better. I think they got to improve. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Now, it might be difficult for Oiler fans right now. You know, you go to bed, you're tossing and turning, you're having a nightmare. Oh, my God, there's another giveaway. There's another week goal. Well, maybe you need a better mattress just to calm down your fanhood and give you a good sleep so you can get fired up for the next game. Go see the experts at the Brick Mattress Store. They'll help you sleep better after a win or a loss.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, in no particular order, give me 3 players that need to step up for the Oilers to get back on track and into the win column.
Well, I would say, more of what you saw yesterday. I thought that was a step in the right direction against Florida. Solid team. Edmonton did a lot of good things. Ultimately, at the end, you know what? It wasn't enough, but that was better. Tomorrow's a tough test, though. Carolina's never been a good matchup for them. But to me, the simplest thing is they need more guys to get engaged in the game on a more regular basis.
I will give you three names. I'll say Skinner. If you get that save percentage above 900, that only once this month it's happened, came in their only win. So I'll say Skinner. Unfortunately, it's unfair, but I want Connor McDavid to get going, get the shot total maybe up a little bit. And then a third one, I don't know. Let's say Arvidsson. Gotta stay on your feet. Gotta get in there and do a little bit more. Those will be my three Oilers. If they can step up their game a little bit, I think the Oilers get back in the win column. So let's go to tomorrow. Will the Oilers win? And if so, who's getting the game-winning goal?
Well, how do you not pick Leon Draisaitl at this point? Guy's the only guy I can confidently say I think he's going to score. But I guess I'll say this: if the Oilers are going to win tomorrow, they're going to need somebody else to score. Adam Henrique. What's he got? Like a goal in 30 games or whatever it is. So yeah, I'll say Adam Henrique because they're going to need somebody who hasn't produced to produce for them to win in Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Oilers are going to. I tweeted it out there. I think they're going to win more than they lose in their next 10 here. And they turn it around tomorrow. They get the win. I'll say Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gets the game-winning goal. Question number 3. We're about a week away from the trade deadline. How many players will the Oilers acquire by next week?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Well, I think how many do I think? Or how many, I guess I think it should be 3. I think it'll be 2.
Yeah, that was the number I had, 3. Maybe 1 at each position. We'll see what happens, but let us know, 1-833-414-1440. How many do you think the Oilers will acquire? Question number 4 for you, Gregor. We saw the beautiful Whalers jersey last night. I know that's one of your favorites, or your favorite of all time. What other NHL retro look would you like to see come back? And I'll just say, not all the time, but on a more occurring basis.
Go ahead.
I will say I like the LA Kings. Like, I'm glad they went back to the Gretzky era logo. I thought the other logo was kind of ugly, but purple and gold, the Lakers colors. I think every once in a while you bring those back. I think that's a good look.
All right. I actually, and I know I'm probably in the minority. I actually like their orange ones, especially the second one that they had. But the Quebec, somebody can bring back the Quebec Nordiques jersey, please. That was unbelievable. Like the Quebec Nordiques, the Fleur de Lis, it's amazing. That blue, bring that bad boy back for sure. And that would be it. Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Final question for you today. It was on this day back in 1983, the final episode of MASH aired with 125 million people taking it in. Which TV show, in your opinion, had the best finale?
That number still seems crazy to me.
Right?
Well, I always wonder, sometimes I think the numbers that they claim, I'm like you go to a sports bar, do they count 400 people or do they count 1? Like, honestly, I don't know. Does anybody know the answer to that question? How do they track that? I'd like to know. Like, what if you're in a household, right? And, you have a neighbor block party and you've got 6, everybody that comes over. So there's 15 of you at one house. All the other TVs are off. So does that only count for one household? I'm honestly curious how they track that. I don't know. But which show had the best finale? I'm not sure I remember. It's kind of more the ones that let you down, which is funny. But I didn't mind the Seinfeld finale. I thought the Seinfeld finale was kind of like the show was about nothing. It ends with them, they're in jail. They're laughing about it. It's kind of funny. So I didn't mind that. I thought it's something like, how are you going to sum up that show? It was impossible to do. Like, I think if you have a show that's kind of built up a specific storyline or two where you want an ending about it, like Seinfeld everything was different all the time, right? So you couldn't really have one ending. So I'm trying to think, I know Lost, anybody would tell you that was one of the worst ones after all the buildup. I didn't mind, Friends, they kind of moved on and they left, right? Like, people had to move, you're all buddies and then you move on. I didn't mind that one really, because they're going to the next phase of their life. Like, anybody out there remembers, maybe you lived with your buddies in a house, right? Or you had 4 buddies that lived within 5-block radius. Y'all have a great time. And then slowly, you know, Bob gets married and moves away, or Dave gets a promotion and moves out of the town. And eventually you just move on. You can't live in an apartment building with your buddies forever unless you stay single.
It's true. For me, it's kind of a controversial one. I didn't dislike the Sopranos ending. Like, we know what happens, but
do you know what happens?
But maybe you don't, right? Because there's always that opportunity. Tony escaped, or what could have happened. But one of the shows I really enjoyed was always Sons of Anarchy, and it was kind of a sad ending, but it was a fitting ending for the way that show had gone.
That's actually a very good one. You're right. Like, it's sad, but like, what else did you expect there? Like, it couldn't be rainbows and lollipops in that ending, right? Like, there was a lot of death in that show.
The whole show kind of went that way. So when they decided on it, I'll tell you, like, I don't want to be a spoiler alert. I had hoped that
you can't worry about spoiler. Like, if people haven't watched Sons of Anarchy, it's not our fault.
I had hoped Jax might have pulled away and just disappeared, but they're, you know, honorable guy. He was done. He was out.
Yeah, no, that's true. I like that. That was actually a good one. I wish I would have said that. It's a good answer. Good answer. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, on Sports 1440. Let's get to the con man. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice, where today is your last day. And Cons, I know you have the sheet there. I think it's Fred. Today is the final name to get into Booster Juice, and you'll get a free smoothie or a mixer as well. And is it Samara? Is that the other name?
That's it. Yep.
Samara and Fred. Ooh, that's a good memory. I read it yesterday before I left, and I remembered it. So there you go. Samara and Fred. It's your final day at Booster Juice.
Sports 1440 update.
Light night in the NHL tonight. We've only got 3 games on the schedule. Getting going shortly. The Rangers will host the Maple Leafs at 6 o'clock. The Kings in Dallas, and at 7 o'clock the Avalanche taking on the Minnesota Wild. Oilers back in action tomorrow. They'll be in Carolina taking on the Hurricanes at 5 o'clock in the association. You got the Raptors getting going against the Bulls in about an hour. Pacers take on the Heat, Nets, Trailblazers. Celtics host the Red Hot Cavaliers, Thunder in Atlanta, and the Pistons taking on the Nuggets in the WHL. Edmonton Oil Kings on the road in PA taking on the Raiders. That gets going just after 6 o'clock. In the AJ, you got Spruce Grove on the road in Penticton taking on the V's at 8. At 7 o'clock at the Sherwood Park Arena, the Crusaders hosting Blackhawks. Puck drop just after 7. And in the AJ, GP hosting Whitecourt, Old in Lloyd Minster. Drayton Valley meets Canmore, and Fort Mac hosting Devon. Canada West playoffs. The Pandas in action at home this weekend down at the Drake hosting Mount Royal in their best of 3 semifinal series tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. All games are going at 7. Golden Bears hockey team on the flip side on the road, taking on Mount Royal down in Calgary tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. Those games getting going at 7. And it was a great night last night for the U of A volleyball teams at the Saville Center as both teams won their matches in straight sets. They'll do it again tonight with a chance to wrap their series. Pandas host Winnipeg at 6. And at 8 o'clock, the Golden Bears taking on the U of C Dinos. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, host of The Lowdown with Lowetide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
You've probably heard the word rehab before, but when GS Construction talks about rehab, we mean bringing aging infrastructure back to life. Water and sewer systems that keep our communities flowing. GS Construction needs skilled pros who know how to get it done safely and efficiently, and that's why we're hiring. If you're a foreman or a pipe layer, apply to a company that's building for Edmonton and area for 2025. Join a team that's as solid as the infrastructure we restore. Visit gsconstruction.ca and join our crew today.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Edmonton's biggest St. Patty's Day party is at On the Rock.
Party at OTR March 14th to 17th as we celebrate St. Patty's Day the way it needs to be celebrated.
Look at the Irish! The Irish!
96 hours of green beer.
5,760 minutes of mayhem, including live entertainment.
Irish dancers.
And all the festive Irish food you can handle.
Celebrate St. Patrick's Day at On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Your Kiss Me, I'm Irish headquarters.
Only if you're into that sort of thing.
Jasper Ave and 118.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock on a positive Friday. Oiler fans, I'm positive that March will be better than February for your hockey team. I know that's not saying much. Might be hard to be worse, but it'll be better in the month of March for the Edmonton Oilers. No question in my mind. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Coming to you live, as always, today at McDavid's. Yeah, that's right. Formerly McDonald's. It is now McDavid's, Calgary Trail, 51st Ave. And you have an hour. If you're getting off work, you want to make your way in, stop in, use the code word, Declan and myself, McDavid, and it will get you a big McDavid meal, which is the double Big Mac, fries, and a drink here at McDavid's. And also all weekend long, 97-cent fries, small fries across every McDonald's that you stop in. Ooh, love the fries. They're great. Let's get to the spec report going out to Raleigh, North Carolina. Spec report brought to you by GS Construction, where they are your underground infrastructure specialists, whether it's in your neighborhoods, simple things like how do you have running water? Big part of their deal. Also on the freeways, all that initial infrastructure so you can drive home safely. GS Construction, as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us, and Spec, a better effort yesterday. Spec saying he can't hear us, so see what's going on there, Cons. You guys have the sound up. Can you hear me, Connor Halley?
Got you loud and clear here.
Okay, you can hear me. So maybe Spec might have to turn his mute button off. Maybe he's got his mute button on his computer. You know, computer 1, Spec 0. That might be happening right now. We'll see. But if not, we'll get him on the phone. So Specs in Kara. He had the article today because I really thought Chris Knobloch had a very direct but calm and poised response. Teams play last night in that
the game went.
Well, I guess it didn't. It was the go-ahead goal at the time was 3-2. And you saw it, right? It looked like a nothing play to start. The Oilers had 2 defensemen back. The Panthers had 1 winger coming down the left side. And for whatever, and by the way, it wasn't Barkov. It wasn't Reinhart. That's the other thing. Sometimes you got to know who that's attacking you. Like if I'm a defenseman and it's Connor McDavid coming down the wing, well, maybe I'm a little hesitant to want to jump on him. But if it's Kasperi Kapanen or if it's Corey Perry, I'm going right after him, right? Like it's different. You got to read who you're playing against. And the Oilers sat the 2 defensemen, Bouchard and Klingberg. Neither one of them really actually went to the player. Bouchard ended up in the corner, for goodness sakes, vacates the middle of the ice, and boom, Nate Schmidt scores. Now, could you say that you'd want Skinner to make a save? Okay, sure. But as Kevin Woodley said, when people want to talk about, high percentage, mid percentage, low percentage chance, he says the reason it's imperfect because it might be deemed a mid percent scoring chance, but when the guy makes a perfect shot, well, guess what? That changes it. So there's all those things that go into it. That's why I said it's imperfect. And I look at where they're at right now, and the Oilers, it was a sign spec that they're better, but they still got a ways to go in just their overall intensity on this team.
Oh, for sure. Among they went to war last night with 14 guys. The Henrique line was a no-show in that hockey game. Sorry. They're 3 veteran guys. It's time to buckle down and try to beat a good team on their ice. You need your whole team. It's not just a cliche that it takes, they say it takes 20 guys to win. Hopefully it didn't take your backup. But my point is it takes all of your guys. And they went to war last night without a third line. Didn't help one single bit. In fact, they hurt them. And on defense, Ekholm wasn't very good. I'm here to tell you, Ekholm wasn't very good. And Bouchard was, again, a train wreck at the worst time. He's one of your best players. And if your best players aren't your best players, you tend to lose. And Bouchard's making them lose right now.
Yeah, like I saw signs that were a lot better than what they'd been in their previous 3 games, and which is normally, you come out of the hole, that's going to happen. I was like, hey, probably lose one, and maybe they lose again in Carolina because they haven't had much success. That's not a good matchup historically for the Edmonton Oilers, at least in Carolina. So we'll see. But there's no just easy fix to say to players, okay, like get more engaged. But at some point, like Chris Knobloch last night spec, by sitting Matt Savoy, and it's fine, but basically said, guys, I'm going with my veterans. You've been here the longest, excluding Nurse because he's injured, and we're going to try to dig out of this together. Yep. I don't think you can do that in Carolina now because of, as you said, how some of those veteran forwards performed last night.
Oh, no. Those guys they had their shot and they forfeited. I mean, you got to play. You can't sit them all. You only have one extra forward on your roster. But absolutely, now we're at the point where we're in a 5-game losing streak here. There's got to be some, consequences for poor play, right? Yeah. There's not a big enough roster to sit 2 or 3, 4 guys. You can't do that. You just don't have enough players. Yeah. But I'll tell you right now, Savoy has to play against Carolina because there is someone, and I could name 3 of them, that have to come out of this lineup. And what it is now, Jason Gregor, it's time to start sitting guys who usually are immune to that. It's time to start sitting some guys like I'm sitting Connor Brown now if I have to. Or I'm sitting Adam Henrique now if I have to. And that's when the dressing room goes, oh, look out. I'll tell you what, I'm sitting Evan Bouchard if I have to. I know they can't because Nurse isn't healthy. But it's time to stop sitting all the bit players around here and start to pick a guy out of the herd, a veteran who's not playing very well because they got plenty of them, and put that guy in the press box for a night. See how that spins in the room.
Yeah, I think the Bouchard one might be too much because they just don't have enough right defense, but you could limit his minutes maybe. I don't know if they would get to that point because if you got to go into a game with Stetcher, Emberson, and Klingberg on your right side, that is a...
Okay, wait. Where's it going to hurt you? Is it going to hurt you on a power play? It's not going to hurt you on the power play, right? Bouchard doesn't have a power play goal in 60 games this year. There's no power play goal from Bouchard. Your power play is not very good. So replacing him on the power play, that's no problem. Is it going to hurt you defensively? I'm telling you right now, Stetcher was a far better
Stetcher was actually really good yesterday. Yeah,
far better defenseman than Bouchard was yesterday. Is it going to hurt you breaking a puck out once in a while? Yeah, it is. It is going to hurt you breaking a puck out once in a while. But I'll tell you what, run it. You know, we've been talking about Bouchard all year, and it's not getting better. It's getting worse. So we're 70 games in this thing here. At some point, something, someone, somewhere, someone's got to get number two's attention, because his game is depleting. It's getting worse, Jay.
That's fair. It is. It is for sure. Like you're missing the passes, the play, the nonchalance on that play last night, and for the coach to describe it as accurately as he did, like Chris Knobloch's not a coach. Some other coaches would be like, this guy was brutal. He was a soft play. Like we've seen John Tortorella and other coaches do it that way. Chris Knobloch, that's not in his personality. It's not who he is, at least publicly. And that's okay. Everybody goes about it different, but he made it pretty clear that, okay, that's like, that play should have been shut down. It should have stopped before it even began. And it totally should have. It was a 1-on-2 for God's sakes. And you had both defensemen, one of them who just skated over to the left side of the ice and then actually just drifted out of the play. It was stunning when you watch the replay.
It's the same as it was exact same in the Hagel goal in Tampa. Exact same play.
The one guy on the penalty kill spec, Troy Stetcher, was really good last night for the Oilers. Just you know why? Because he was competitive.
Yeah, that's his nature. He's not a great player, okay? I'm here to tell you. Like, he's not blessed with size. He's not blessed with great offensive ability. But I'll tell you, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. Every shift he takes, he's trying to earn his next shift, because he knows the minute the game starts to go south for the Oilers, he's the first defenseman whose ice time starts getting limited. So he plays with his hair on fire like it's his last shift. I got all day for Troy Stetcher, man. He doesn't leave an ounce of it in the dressing room. I know he's only so good. Okay, they're not all great. But I'll tell you what, you get 100% of him, and I can name you about 5 players last night who were better players, and they only gave you about 40%.
Yeah, it's one where you just like, you had other guys, that McDavid said he was going to play better. I thought he played better.
He played better.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game, but he definitely played better. There's no doubt about that. And so you need some other guys to just, if every player brings 2, 3, 4, 5% better, well, now your chances of winning go up significantly, right? Yeah. And so that's where they got to start. But when you look at Darnell Nurse, is he going to play tomorrow? What are you hearing on him, or is he going to miss another game?
I don't have a clue. He didn't practice today. So okay. He didn't practice today, and all I know about Darnell Nurse is he won't miss a game with a little owie, right? I think we all know Darnell Nurse. He's not Frederick Anderson that's hurt all the time. This guy plays. So if he's not playing, it's because he's injured. If he's anywhere close to able to play, I expect to see him play.
Will they go with Pickard tomorrow, you expecting? If you
I don't know. I got to say to you, I spent the afternoon in the plane. I wasn't even at practice. So I don't know. And then now we get to goaltending, right? Skinner made a lot of saves last night, and listen, I'm not happy with the goaltending on this team. It's not good enough. It's just not good enough. Okay. Let's make that clear. But when I see people calling that Schmidt goal a routine save, the guy's 18 feet away and wires a wrist shot off the post and in from the hash mark. That's not a routine save, right? So it's just not a routine save. I didn't get to hear Woodley. I would have liked to have. But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is goaltending was about 5th on my list again last night. I wish it was better. I wish he'd stand his head and stop 40, but he's not doing that, and that's not who he is. I get it. If you can go find that guy, Jay, if Stan Bowman can get him, trade for him tomorrow. But as it stands, I'm playing Skinner tomorrow because he made a ton of good saves for me the other day if I'm the coach.
Yeah, like I was looking at, Stu Skinner has started, he started 2 in a row. He's never started 4 in a row. He started 3. That's kind of the max in the rotation. So Pickard played against Washington. I could see it kind of going either way, depending on it. We'll see. I think if they want to try to get a win, then they still got to say, hey, we'll go with our starter, and we'll see what happens. Whoever it is in goal has got to play consistent. There's no doubt. I think the Oilers can try to limit some key chances. That would definitely help them.
I think there's 2 conversations. Sorry to interrupt. There's 2 conversations. One conversation is, are you happy with Skinner's game? The answer is no. The other conversation is Calvin Pickard a better goaltender? And I think the answer is not yes, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now, looking at what did you make of Arvidsson, Draisaitl, and Skinner?
Not a ton. I didn't notice Skinner that much at all last night. Personally, they worked hard. Like, this isn't they're not trying. Those guys were playing hard. Skinner played his ass off. I saw him. I forget the guy that he ran over. He went through the wall and he actually skated right through a guy. And I thought that's not something you see Skinner do very often. Arvidsson's working hard. I don't know if that's a line that's going to make it here. Draisaitl was fantastic, and he's carried this team offensively, even though they haven't won a game. He's been so far and away their best player. It's not even funny, but I don't know about that line. What do you think, Jay?
No, I didn't see it. Like last night in that game against Florida, I'm not sure I noticed Jeff Skinner. Not good or bad. I didn't really notice. I will say I thought Arvidsson, his last few games at least, there's a little bit of a prick in his game, which is something that he's had before. Yep. So it's a step, and he did ring one right off the bar, right? Like you saw him look skyward. So I actually didn't mind, like when he plays like that, you're like, okay, I've got something there, right? And he obviously needs to do that way more than he has this season. But I think the Jeff Skinner experiment isn't working. And if you can now, it was different, and I know every player is different, every situation is different. He was way younger, and he didn't have a no movement clause. But Ken Holland a few years ago at the trade deadline moved Jesse Puljujärvi to Carolina. Jesse Puljujärvi had done nothing, and he traded him for $3 million cap hit, retained no salary, basically. And Edmonton just took a nothing prospect. It was like future considerations without being future considerations, right? So you can't. And the Oilers had no cap space that year, Spec. They were in LTIR. And he made that trade because that then freed up some space. Then he was able to move Barry, and then he got Ekholm, and then they got that was a master class in what you have to do if you want to try to improve your team. And I keep hearing from a lot of, they can only make one move because of Vander Kane. I'm like, why? Why can you limit it to one move because Kane might come back early? To me, that's a quitter's attitude. Stan Bowman's got to address some things on this team, Spec. I looked at their numbers. I thought they were too slow and not physical enough. I didn't know it was as bad as it is. So I went back to the Oilers' last 3 seasons, 2022, 2023, 2024. They averaged 22.6, 22.6, and 22.3 hits per 60 at 5-on-5. And their minutes were all 48 minutes and change per game. It's basically the exact same. This year, they actually have a little bit more 5-on-5 time, which is where there's more hitting than special teams. And the Oilers are at 13.3, right? They have the least hits in the NHL. And don't give me this garbage about, they got possession more. Actually, they had a higher shot for percentage last year than they do this year. But Florida has the exact same shot for percentage as the Oilers. And, by the way, they lead the NHL in hits. Don't tell me that, hitting's only because you don't have the puck. It's not true. It's been proven to be not true. It's a mentality, and it's a style. And the Oilers don't have enough of them. They don't have to be bangers. They don't have to run everybody through the rink, but they're down 40% for the last 3 years, Spec. That is a glaring number.
I agree. And to me, they don't have an overly physical defense, right? They don't. And every time they add a guy, it's a guy like Klingberg who's not hitting a lot of people. But to me, that's a testament to their bottom six, to my eye. I mean, you could break it down defense and forwards if you wanted. It sounds like a lot of work. But to me, it's their bottom six. The bottom six here has no identity, right? Corey Perry's probably I want to say Corey Perry might be their best bottom six player. And to be honest, he's almost 40 years old. So that tells me you have a bottom six with no identity. Because I'll tell you what, the bottom six isn't producing offensively. These guys aren't scoring goals, not helping you offensively. So then they should be maybe hitting a lot of people. Well, they're not hitting anybody. Your stats bear that out. So then they should be maybe filled with awesome penalty killers. Well, the PK is 25th or 6th or something, right? Yeah. So now what else does my bottom six guys do, Jason? Right? What else do they do? If they don't score and they don't hit, last night the third line went -3, right? So now they're not defending, they're not killing penalties, they're not scoring, and they're not hitting, and there's no fighting left in the game. So you tell me what the bottom six on this team does, what kind of identity they have, and how they help this team get better. And I'm listening.
Yeah. Spec, we'll see what happens in the next week, man. It's going to be a fascinating week. It's been very quiet across the league, right? Ever since the big JT Miller and Rantanen back-to-back Friday trades, it's been crickets. So we know they're coming. It's just a matter of when, and we'll see how involved Stan Bowman gets. It should be make for a very fun week next
Usually
week.
it starts. Usually we're starting to look at a trade by now. So you know what? We're heading into the weekend like this. I know my place at Sportsnet, we're on high alert. So I'm waiting too, buddy. Usually something's going by now.
Right now, there's more buyers than sellers, which makes the prices go up, and the sellers can be patient because they can say, "Well, hey, you know what? We'll see. Are you sure? Well, maybe Bob wants to give me something extra." So see how it goes.
All right, buddy. Have a great weekend, y'all.
You too. That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. 522, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you. We will take a quick break. We'll turn. We got lots more to get to the Edmonton Oilers. Also, if you use the promo code, use the word McDavid, come on over and you'll get a free Big Mac David combo here at McDonald's.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New for today.
Attention drivers, it's the Midwinter Tire Clearance Sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
From the casinos of Vegas to the bingo halls of Leduc, everybody wants a piece of Lady Luck.
Before entering your order at papajohns.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where, hey, tomorrow is March 1st, the new month, which is a new opportunity for you to use the promo code Gregor50. Get a new one every month. Gregor50 at PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, maybe you feel the streak will end tomorrow. Good luck. Let's get to talk a little hockey, maybe a little football, with the host of the Lowdown, noon to 2, Al Mitchell on Sports 1440. Al, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm well. It's beautiful. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. I know that the weather may not stay forever, but I'm going to pretend it's going to be spring from now until, June.
Okay. I like it. Now, Al, what were your takeaways from last night's game?
They're better. They a lot of the flow play and the numbers suggested that it was a fairly even game. They're still doing a lot of things, and they were tight as a drum not that long ago. But defensively, they're not where they need to be. They're not. It's like they're a little dull. That's why I keep saying flu or injury or whatever, because they're talented players and they're playing hard, but they're just not quite where they should be when they're on and they're paying attention. I'll use Evan Bouchard as an example. In the game the other night, he was slow on a wraparound. And last night, I know that you had sent out a tweet this morning about the coverage on the winning goal. And it's not like it's not like he's indifferent to the play, but he needs to be tighter and stronger on that. And then they did a lot of good things too. Leon Draisaitl is ridiculous. So I think they're getting closer. I wouldn't be surprised if they win in Carolina, for instance.
Really?
Yeah.
Oof, man, that's that's a bad matchup. I find Jacob Slavin, one of the best defensemen in the NHL, and they got lots of depth up and down the line. They're a quick team, man, and so. If the Oilers can win in Carolina, that'd be a huge win now. That would be a monster win, I think. At the end of this 5-game road trip, you've lost all 4. You lost, obviously, 5 dating back to the Colorado game. You're probably not feeling good. If they could get a win in there, that would be a huge win for them. So we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, I just think that they're a proud team. They're a desperate team, and there are things that they're doing better. The third line had a ghastly game last night. And if you take that performance out, I thought the McDavid with Hyman and Nuge were better. Draisaitl played really well. And they've got I know people are mad at Skinner. I know people are mad at Bouchard. I get it. There are errors and things like that. But it's a 3-2 league. It's a very close league, and they weren't far away last night. It is getting better. I think that they have it in them to salvage a little bit from this really poor road trip, because there's a lot of pride there. And my suspicion is we'll see their best game tomorrow.
Al, what did you make of Arvidsson, Skinner, Draisaitl? Do you keep it together? Do you think Knobloch is going to move around, or does he have no choice because the third line got caved, and so he might have to change that line?
Well, here's what, Arvidsson is coming along, and I know, I've seen Arvidsson play brilliantly, and I know when he gets his game together, he's going to be an advantage for this team, and you can see it in spurts and every once in a while. Skinner is the odd man out. He's the odd duck, and if they can keep him in the top 6 and he can be productive and outscore, I think it's fine short term. But if they're keeping the kid out because of Skinner, then I don't. I think I might want to see Savoy back. But the third line, they should be better, man. They're really good hockey players. I mean, Janmark is a little bit hit and miss, and he has not played well recently. But the other two are good players. I don't know what's going on with this team, but I probably would keep them together, Jason, because they have a reasonable game. But I try to find a way to put Savoy in that lineup tomorrow as well.
Well, I would agree with you. I would get him back in. Henrique's actually, since January 1st up until last game, it actually been pretty good 5-on-5. You know what? It was outscoring the opposition. It was fine, but yesterday was a tough game for him. The problem with Draisaitl and Brown, really, and more so Draisaitl. I'm not Draisaitl, but Henrique is like Henrique. Just he's been a pretty good offensive player in his career, and he's not doing much at all. I trying to think the last time we saw Henrique really generate some good quality chances. That's there's scoring is one thing, and it's the old adage, well, he's not scoring, but he's generating chances. Well, he's not scoring, and he's not really generating any chances out.
Yeah, and that's it's almost like it's a group funk, and I tease about can't hit the ocean, but you're right. It's not like they're missing or going high. They're just not getting 10 bell chances, and it's not even like some of them. It's a lot of them. A lot of guys are Dude just had a tough year offensively. Hyman's doing better, and it's not like he's awful. He scored pretty well this year, but coming off of last year, and especially because of the drought that they're having as a forward group, it's really noticeable. So. You keep trying and you keep attempting to make good things happen, but really, if you're not getting near the net, if you're not getting enough touches, and you're not in a position to maybe make a great pass for a chance or shoot for a chance in good position, then really you're not doing a whole hell of a lot of good in the offensive end. And there's a lot of guys like that, a lot of forwards on the Oilers who are kind of fit that description in the last little while.
Oh, 100%. What do you think Paul Coffey does to try to get Bouchard's game on?
Well, based on past history of players who struggle like that, I mean, I think you try to back them off in terms of, the tough minutes a little bit, and then, simplify the game. The play where they scored, he wasn't really doing anything. And he was over in the corner, but wasn't ever going to get that play. And then by the time he figured out that he had committed too deeply, he wasn't able to get back. And that, even if you make a mistake, just be hard on those, be certain. And there just doesn't seem to be, I understand why fans are mad at him. I mean, you can't help how you look, but he does look a little lackadaisical out there. So I would just suggest that read the play, react, and commit to that play. And then, commit to the next play, because hockey's a group of broken plays. And Bouchard he appears to be like an observer, and he needs to be more involved.
Well, he does need to be more involved, but we've been saying this now for a while, Al, and he hasn't gotten there, right? And so that to me is I don't know if they have. Now the other thing is that has gone not talked about is Matthias Ekholm doesn't look very good. And, keep in mind, he was going to be a healthy scratch for Sweden at the World Cup. Four Nations. Matthias Ekholm's another guy here that, and I don't like to say, well, it's just because of Bouchard. It's not just because of Bouchard, right? Matthias Ekholm's game, his foot speed at times, Al, looks a little bit concerning to me. And that's why I wonder if maybe it's time to consider when Nurse gets healthy of switching that pair up.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that you've got Kulak there that you could move around to, and here's the thing, the guys like Ekholm and even Bouchard, although Bouchard's young, they played a lot of hockey in the last 12 months, a lot of hockey, and he's not a young guy. Ekholm's not young, and it's not like it's for the next they can't play him in difficult minutes in the playoffs. That's not true. Just until he can get his game back and be where he was 3 months ago, and then for a long time, then maybe they do have to, share the land a little bit, and changing up the pairings isn't a bad idea. It gives everybody a fresh look. I like their defense overall. I look at Klingberg and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where I like some of his game. There's some of his game that I don't like. It's pretty tough because the Oilers don't have, what have they got, 8 days here before the deadline to make a decision. But the big key is to make sure absolutely sure that Ekholm and Bouchard are ready for game one of the playoffs. And right now they're a long way off.
Al, one last one for you. When you look at Stan Bowman, and they have what just under a week now because it's 1 o'clock next Friday. How many moves do you think he makes? How many moves do you think they need to make?
Well, I'd like to have one more. Like they always trade for a defenseman, and I think that'll happen. I'd love to have a fourth line right center like Evans in Montreal. I don't think they'll get him, but I'd like to have that. And I would really like to have it depends on Evander Kane. If Evander Kane can come back, because, that's, in a way, that's the guy they need. He's not a two-way guy, but he's physical and he's tough and he can shoot the puck and he can give a lot of energy and kind of tilt the ice a little. He's not available, then I would like that guy. And so I'll say 3 moves: a winger / center who can play with skill, but also in the middle 6, a fourth line center, and then somebody who can play defense and maybe push everybody down one slot, beginning with Klingberg.
Al, we'll see. I think they need to make 3 moves. I'm not sure they do, but we shall see. It'll be an interesting week leading up to the trade deadline. Thanks for your time.
Hey, you have a great weekend.
You too. That's Al Mitchell, host of the Lowdown, noon to 2 on Sports 1440 every weekday. We'll take a break, come back, wrap things up. Getting busy here. If you have 20 minutes, if you want to come and see us, we are live at McDavid's. That's right. Formerly McDonald's. It is now McDavid's on Calgary Trail and 51st Avenue. Stop in before 6. Come up to Declan and myself. Use the promo code McDavid, and we will get you a free Big Mac David combo. So check it in. We'll return right after this.
It may sound cliche, but it's true. Building something new starts with a solid foundation. At GS Construction, we're growing Edmonton subdivisions with deep utility services and infrastructure that lasts. Every new project begins with skilled people like you, building communities from the ground up. GS Construction is hiring. So if you're a foreman or a pipe layer that's looking to put your skills to work for Edmonton and area in 2025, we'd love to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca and join a team that digs deep and builds stronger.
Edmonton's biggest St. Paddy's Day party is at On the Rock.
Party at OTR March 14th to 17th as we celebrate St. Paddy's Day the way it needs to be celebrated.
Look at the Irish! 96 hours of green beer.
5,760 minutes of mayhem, including live entertainment.
Irish dancers.
All the festive Irish food you can handle.
Celebrate St. Patrick's Day at On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Your Kiss Me, I'm Irish headquarters.
Only if you're into that sort of thing.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. This Edmonton-based tournament pairs hockey fans with some of their favorites from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend featuring a champions luncheon and tournament. Teams are already fundraising in the community, enabling the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories to continue providing help for today through free education programs and support services, and hope for tomorrow through research. For more information or to learn how you can get involved, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
Snow removal contractors and community leagues. The tools you need are available at the prices you want. Now at the Lawnmower Hospital. Save up to $1,300 and get a free Echo backpack blower. All of BCS's industry-leading belt-free snow sweepers are on sale. And you'll get the powerful Echo PB 9010 backpack blower free with select models. Find out more at thelawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
When you wash, get the Works. The Works Car and Truck Wash is now open in Wetaskiwin. With 8 self-serve bays, you'll never have to wait in line.
This isn't your typical gas station car wash. Choose from soft touch or touchless automatic washes. Plus, big trucks are welcome in the oversized highway truck bay. Use code SPORTS1440 when you purchase a wash card, and you'll receive a 15% bonus. Cannot be combined with other offers or promotions. When you wash, get the works. Visit theworkswash.ca or follow them on Instagram and Facebook.
Join us for the Canadian premiere of Yuki, the untold story of hockey legends on March 10th at Fort Hall, Rogers Place, Edmonton. Hosted by Kelly Rudy, this event features a gripping documentary celebrating over 50 NHL champions of Ukrainian-Canadian descent. Enjoy a Ukrainian-style meal and a Q&A session with Kelly and the director, Vladimir Mula. Tickets are limited, $50 for rush seating and $150 for VIP. Secure your spot now at ukrfolk.ca and be a part of this unforgettable evening.
Feel the thrill of the 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse at Cross Mitsubishi. Lease for $239 a month with $49.99 due at signing. Enjoy 0% financing, a $1,000 trade rebate, and a $500 loyalty rebate. Equipped with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Offer ends February 28th. See Cross Mitsubishi, 9605 34th Avenue, or visit crossmitsubishi.ca. Cross Mitsubishi, drive your ambition.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:43 as we get set to wrap up what has been a very busy week, busy show. It's going to be, next week is going to be very interesting across the National Hockey League as we inch closer to the NHL trade deadline. And there are a lot of teams that are looking to upgrade. The Oilers aren't the only team that they're looking to upgrade. Colorado wants to upgrade. The Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are the best team in the league. And you look and say, geez, we'd like a second-line center. Now, there's not a lot of second-line centers available, of course. Brock Nelson. Like, I keep hearing in New York, well, they're seeing if you can get a contract extension. I'm just like, to me, that's flat. I'm flabbergasted by that. Like, if you're the New York Islanders, why are you doing that? Like, you know what? I don't know if Brock Nelson's value will ever be higher than it is now. Because if he signs a 4-year deal, how many teams are going to trade for him when he's got a 4-year deal? You're like, geez, I like him, but I don't know if I like him at $6 million for 4 years. It's very different. So he's a pending UFA. I don't know, unless they're confident that they can just stick in purgatory and then somehow hit a few home runs. I guess that's their plan. I'm not really sure what it is. They don't have to completely, because they got some good young players. Matt Barzal is young. Noah Dobson's young. Sorokin's still not old by any stretch. He's locked under contract. Like, they don't have to go full on rebuild, but you want to try to retool a little bit. Like, to me, now easier said than done, but look what the Washington Capitals did. Right? The Washington Capitals had some good players. Now, they got a little lucky, don't get me wrong, because of the LTIR stuff, but because that freed up cap space. But if you trade Palmieri and you trade Nelson, well, that frees up cap space. You get some assets from it, and then you go out and make some moves, right? Because now you'll have more assets to make some of those moves. Like, look, there's going to be another player out in the league who has been struggling, will be underappreciated and undervalued, and you can get him on a good deal. There's always guys like that. Now, you have to find that player, right? Dylan Strome was that guy. Right, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Pierre-Luc Dubois was a 60-point player for consecutive seasons. He had a kind of a down year in LA, but if you actually look at his 5-on-5 numbers, they weren't that down. It was his power play numbers that were down. And now they gave up Darcy Kemper, good player, but they got Dubois. Now, what's Dubois going to be? He's going to be a 60, 65-point player again. Big, strong, hard to play against. And he feels like, man, I'm really respected in Washington. Get some power play time. Coach challenges him, says, man, we want you playing the other team's best players. He loves it. So you can do it. Like, look at the Edmonton Oilers. they made some bad moves that in now, right? Not matching Dylan Holloway, right? Thinking that Jeff Skinner would be that guy, and it hasn't worked out. Like Jeff Skinner is just, it's not working out. It's not a knock on him, but how the Oilers play, he doesn't fit to how they play. Because he's not a bottom six guy, because he's not an energy player. He doesn't run around and hit anybody, right? He's a skill player. But he likes to hold on to the puck. And guys, to have success playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, you need to move the puck quick, right? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' best asset when he plays with McDavid is he's accurate and he can move the puck quick and get it to McDavid in stride. Now, he might not get a ton of points. I get it. Doesn't produce, but that's what he does well. And so it allows the line to have success, right? That's what happens. So hey, Gregor, because it's Positive Friday, as bad as the Oilers are right now, imagine being a Canucks fan. That's a team that would give you nightmares, from JC. Well, I saw someone today state, one of the reporters is, I got to find online, said he thinks that before it's over, the Elias Pettersson contract will be a buyout. And I was just like, oh my God, like I've watched the Canucks, but I don't watch every game. And if you don't watch every game, it's hard sometimes to get a real assessment of a team. But Elias Pettersson that bad that they're talking about a potential buyout? Oh my gosh. Like, whew. Now, that's a market that can maybe get a little bit overreactive. So, a buyout, like, that's a pretty big buyout, man. Are you kidding me? So his no trade clause kicks in July 1st. Like when a guy has 100 points and 80 points, like he's got a lot of skill. Like I don't think you just lose it all that quickly, right? Like there's difference of maybe a player who has one really great season and you're thinking, okay, that's an outlier. All right. But Elias Pettersson had been a 60-point player, 3 times. The other year he had 21 and 26, got injured. Then he has 102. Then he's 89 and 82. Like those are really good numbers. So at worst, I'm like, okay, maybe he goes back to being a 75-point player. He's on pace to be like a 50-point guy this year. Like it is a significant drop. And he has a very good release when he's on his game, right? He can shoot the puck. He's got 11 goals this year. Like even the year he was banged up, he had 10. Like his lowest goal total in a full season is 27, and he's got 11 right now. JC, that's an interesting point for sure. Hey guys, what's your thoughts on the Peterka, the German connection? What about O'Reilly as a starting point? He's a second rounder, shouldn't cost a ton from Teed. Yeah, I saw JJ Peterka's name popped up today. You know what? I'm always curious. Like I can't see Buffalo, suggesting that one, right? And so I'd love to talk. I'll talk to Frank about it. But JJ Peterka comes in, and you know what? Last year he had 28 goals, 50 points. He's on pace to have more points, not as many goals, but still he's on pace to score 20-some goals again. Solid players, 23 years of age. Yeah, if you could get him, that would be a great player to get. But what do they want? Honestly, I don't know. Like, they're not going to want Savoy. They just traded him, right? So what other young prospects does Edmonton have? And do they even want a young prospect? Like, doesn't Buffalo have enough of that? Like, if I'm Buffalo and I'm considering trading JJ Peterka, don't I have to get an NHL player in return? And that's what I said earlier. Like, I don't think they have enough experience in their management team. And they're at a kind of a crossroads here. It's 14 years out of the playoffs. If you have an inexperienced GM and suddenly, he's going to make a big move, like, they're worried about, we can't sign Peterka. Like, why? Why can't you sign JJ Peterka? He's coming out of his ELC. He's a good young player. Like, you signed Tage Thompson, you signed Dylan Cousins. You know what? Jason Zucker's a UFA. So there's $5 million. Like I look at Peterka, and his career high is 50 points. This year he's going to come close. So do you project him as what? Like a $6 million player? Like, I don't know if you want to go long-term and suddenly sign him for $8 or $9 million. Like, that would seem a little bit, too much. But the cap is going up a lot. They've got some cap space. They don't have any really egregious, awful contracts. Like, they probably are hoping they don't. So, I don't know, man. If the Oilers could get JJ Peterka, of course you're going to listen, Teed. Like, it's it would be fantastic, because that, hey, younger player, but not too young, right? He's got 3 years NHL experience. That kind of basically is replacing Dylan Holloway is what you're doing there. So we'll see. Hey guys, fourth line center. I know everybody mentions Evans. What about McCarron or what about Stenlund? Well, Stenlund in Utah, he's 28, right? Like 6'3". Like you look at Stenlund's role that he played in Florida last year. Right? Regular season, scored double-digit goals. He got into the playoffs. He was their number one penalty killer for minutes. Right? He had in the playoffs, he didn't have a goal, but he killed the penalties the most. He won lots of key faceoffs. It was only on the ice for 5 goals against 5-on-5. So think about that. That's in 25 playoff games, right? Over the course of a full season, you're doing cartwheels if your fourth line center is only on the ice for 15 goals against. Right? So he didn't play a flashy role, but it's an important role for your team. Now, I don't think Utah is trading him. I'll just say that. Utah, I looked at their schedule. I looked at how they're playing. Like, they're just getting healthy now. They're only 2-3 points out of the playoffs. They are right in the mix, man. So I don't think they're going to trade him. McCarron, I don't think he's as good offensively as Stenlund is. He's pretty close to draws. Big man, can win faceoffs. Not overly fleet of foot, but he's actually slightly faster than Stenlund. Not everybody has to be a burner. For his role, win some faceoffs. He's a right shot. And he takes mainly defensive draws, right? He's not a guy that, he's got these decent numbers because he's playing the offensive zone. No, he's used to starting the defensive zone. He's big, he's strong, he'll fight, he'll add a dimension you don't have. And he's under contract for another year. It doesn't cost you anything. Like, are you telling me that if you traded Kapanen and a pick that the Oilers are worse? You actually save $100,000 in cap space because Kapanen makes $1 million. Like, Kapanen's like a Jag right now. And that's the problem with the Oilers. They have too many guys who are just a guy. What's his role? What's his dimension? He's not a main penalty killer. He's not physical. He doesn't score. He doesn't hit. So what does he do? Right? So to me, if you can replace him with a guy that at least you know what his role is, now your team's slightly better. And I think Edmonton needs a few more guys who can say, hey, this is the role. He comes in. He's going to fill this role. It's not going to be they don't need difference makers. They got the difference makers. They need guys who can be complementary players for specific roles. That's what they need. On behalf of Connor Halley and Declan Kruger and everybody here at McDavid's, the McDonald's on Calgary Trail and 51st Ave. Stop in at any McDonald's all weekend long, 97-cent small fries. You can get those. And they've extended the Big Mac David for a little bit more time here to enjoy, to celebrate Mac David's. There's one here in Edmonton, and then, of course, there's one in Newmarket in his hometown. So have yourselves a great weekend, everyone. Please don't drink and drive. Be safe. That is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Here's a Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. All of a sudden, it conks out. You need furnace work, AC work. They'll do it all. No OT. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
3 games on the ice tonight at the NHL level. After 20 minutes, Maple Leafs and Rangers tied at 1 apiece. Later on, you get the Stars, Kings, and Wild Avalanche. The Oilers in action tomorrow, taking on the Hurricanes at 5 o'clock. Pre-game coverage here on Sports 1440 with Andrew Walker, Novan Paulson. We'll get going at 4 in the association. Not a great start for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They trail the Celtics 25-3. 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Elsewhere, SGA's got 6 points for the Thunder as they lead the Hawks 27-13. Nuggets up on the Pistons 49-45. Later tonight, the Raptors are in Chicago to take on the Bulls. You also have the Knicks, Grizz, Suns, Pelicans, Timberwolves in Utah, and the Lakers hosting the Clippers. In the WHL, the Edmonton Oil Kings on the road are about 10 minutes away from puck drop as they take on the PA Raiders in the AJ. Spruce Grove in Penticton taking on the V's. That gets going at 8 o'clock in the Edmonton area. Crusaders hosting Black Vault out at Sherwood Park Arena. Puck drop at 7. And in the AJ, you got GP hosting Whitecourt, Olds in Lloyd. Creighton Valley meets Canmore, and Fort Mac up against Devon at the Canada West playoff level. The Pandas in action tonight hosting Mount Royal in their best of 3 semifinal series tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. All those games get going at 7 for the Golden Bears. They're on the road taking on Mount Royal in Calgary tonight, tomorrow, Sunday as well at the Flames Community Arena. And last night was a great one for the U of A when it comes to volleyball at the Saville Center. Both teams, Bears, Pandas, winning their first playoff match in straight sets. They'll do it again tonight with a chance to wrap up their series. The Pandas host Winnipeg at 6. Then at 8 o'clock, it's the Golden Bears taking on the UFC Dinos. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio. And then tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., local coverage resuming with the Saturday Sports Setup, followed by the basketball show with Paul Sir. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.